All right, thank you, Ryan. We are here in Provo. The BYU Cougars taking the field, getting ready to host the Aggies, in-state rivals from Utah State. And welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. It is just a spectacular night in a packed house here in Provo. Undefeated 18th ranked BYU at home against the Aggies of Utah State. Hi, everyone. Dave Fleming alongside Mike Bellotti. Allison Williams is with us as well. Mike, what a weekend of college football. I think you could say it started last night in Eugene with the big upset, Arizona over Oregon. But we've got tremendous matchups all weekend long. That playoff committee is going to find out a lot tomorrow.
No question. Unfortunately for the Ducks, they're one of the first top 25 undefeateds to go down. But we've got a bunch of other games. The SEC West, oh my gosh, great football games this weekend. And I'll tell you what, they're all those good games, but I'm really looking at that Texas A&M Mississippi State game. You've got two different quarterbacks. Kenny Hill throwing the ball all over. Dak Prescott from Mississippi State can run it. I don't know, but I still like A&M. I just think it's going to be the closest game of all of them. I also like Stanford Notre Dame, which you and I would talk about. I think Stanford favored at Notre Dame. Amazing. Everett Golson, 25 consecutive completions last week. I don't think that'll happen against the Stanford D.
So great slate of games tomorrow. Meanwhile, here tonight, BYU climbing the rankings, 18th ranked, with some hopes of making it into that playoff picture. Are those chances realistic?
You know, I tell you, I think they can only do what they control, and I think they can win every game that they play. Taysom Hill is a Heisman Trophy candidate, but whether or not winning every game is going to be enough, I don't know yet.
So the Cougars and Taysom Hill ready to go here at home against Utah State. And there's a lot of emotion here inside LaVell Edwards Stadium. Really one of the great scenes, one of the great settings in the country for college football. Late night under the lights in Provo. And the students are really excited for this one.
This is an in-state rivalry game. There's a lot of emotion in this stadium for both teams.
Well, Utah State won the toss, and they defer, so that means BYU will get the ball first. And you saw Taysom Hill on the sideline getting ready to take the field. Adam Hine, Paul Lasike deep, but it's not a high arcing kick, just a low squibber that kicks out of the end zone. And so a touchback as Taysom Hill and company take the field for the first time. The throwback royal blue BYU uniforms tonight.
You like them. I'd still like to go back to the white pants, but they look awesome. I'll tell you what, Taysom Hill having a great season. He's still not the most accurate passer he'd like to be, but he is the most elusive quarterback, one of the strongest runners in Division I football.
And clearly, so far this year, one of the elite players in the country.
Defenses hate to see him on the other side of the ball.
So Taysom Hill in the shotgun. And on the first play, he's going to look to pass, and he's going to look to go deep. Right sideline, and it is caught along the sideline by Jordan Leslie.
And I think you want to come out right now and say, hey, I can throw the ball, I can throw it accurately, and I can throw it deep. Let's make sure that he caught this ball and got it down inbounds. Can't really tell from that angle if he had possession of the ball, but I'm going to, I'll tell you what, that's really close.
I think he got in. I think it was good, and they're going to snap the ball and get the play off. Leslie with the catch for a much shorter game on play number 2 inside the 20.
BYU may be seeing something from Utah State. They're very worried about the running game and about Taysom running. They may be getting the type of coverage they want on the outside to allow him to throw the ball.
A 54-yard pass play on the first play of scrimmage. Now it's second down and 6 to go for Hill and the Cougars. Give straight ahead running, Jamal Williams with the carry. We'll see a lot of Williams. He is a dynamic complement to Hill in the backfield.
His speed is impressive. He's a very explosive player for them, and he complements the running game with Taysom Hill very well.
So Williams with the gain of 6. It's first down, BYU. And not quite first and goal. They can get a first down at the 1. Receiver in motion, Hill looking to throw. Moving around and incomplete, intended for Leslie again.
And that's when he's the most dangerous. The Utah State coaches talked about the fact that they're more concerned when he drops back to pass but then doesn't find somebody, tucks it and run. And they really have to have the entire front 7 alert to stop him.
One of the quickest tempo offenses in all of college football. And they don't always snap the ball immediately, but they get to the line, get into the formation as fast as they can. 2nd and 10, and the fake give. Hill, no one to pitch the ball to, so he'll just get to the edge himself and hurdle into the end zone. Touchdown. What a statement right away from the junior star, Taysom Hill, 11 yards.
He is so fast. The defense has to take different angles, different pursuit angles to catch him.
Trevor Sampson, the place kicker for BYU, and that extra point up and good.
As we watch this replay, I want you to take a look because he literally, a normal quarterback, a dual threat guy, right at this point would throw the ball outside to the receiver. You see at the far side of the picture. He just outruns everybody and then hurdles. No worries about his body. He's going over the top.
Just the spectacular athleticism from Taysom Hill.
I'll tell you what, we talked about this too. He's protecting his body sometimes this year, but first down, touchdown, or what, he doesn't care. He's going over the top.
Well, the star BYU making a statement early, and for more on number 4, let's welcome in Allison Williams.
Taysom Hill could not ask for a better start against Utah State because he doesn't exactly have the fondest memories of playing them. Go back to 2012. It was in the final minutes against the Aggies that he suffered a season-ending knee injury. And then last year against Utah State, Hill, who is so prolific in the run game, was held to just 14 yards on 9 carries. The good news is for Hill, he has never lost to Utah State. So tonight, as he continues to make his Heisman Trophy push, he will look to continue that win streak and avoid some of those personal setbacks.
Well, and I don't think there's any question right now that Mike, Taysom Hill is a Heisman Trophy candidate. Yeah, there just aren't many players in the country who can do all the things he can do. He's
an exceptional football player with the ball in his hands. If he continues to throw like he has early on, he will be in the Heisman Trophy finalist conversation.
Kickoff into the end zone. Kennedy Williams takes a knee. And so for the first time, Utah State has the ball, already down 7-0 after that 75-yard drive. And you see number 10, Darrell Garrettson, Chucky Keaton, their star quarterback, is out. We don't know if he's out for the rest of the year. He's out for a while. So for now, Darrell Garrettson, this is his team.
And you know what? He's a very good passer. He played a lot last year. He's already played a bunch this year. The team trusts him. He's the son of a coach. They want him to be a little bit more mobile, buy a little bit more time in the pocket, and make his reads just a little bit quicker. But they're excited about the fact that he's played a lot this year. They trust him.
So the sophomore, Darrell Garrettson, brings a man in motion. That's Hunter Sharp. The fake on the fly sweep. And Garrettson, with tons of time, throws it out of bounds. Now, JoJo Natson, he didn't know where he was. The ball was way out of bounds as well.
No, and I'll tell you what, he had a ton of time. They were worried about the variety of rush lanes that BYU has. They are a zone blitz team. They'll line up 4, 5, or 6 guys at the line of scrimmage and bring 4 or 5. You just don't know which ones, so they're trying to help the quarterback out by protecting him.
And there is Chucky Keaton, the senior from Houston, Texas, who had so many spectacular moments himself in his career. He is wearing the headsets. He's going to help out Utah State tonight. And a handoff straight ahead. Powerful running. A nice gain for Utah State. The Aggies on the ground. They need to establish something in the run game. That is number 41, Nick Vigil, who is a linebacker. So they're going to use him on offense tonight, apparently.
He's one of the best athletes on the team. An exceptional player, a difference maker, and they're going to use him wherever they can.
So Nick Vigil, a little wrinkle already. The underdog on the road, Utah State in a pistol-type formation with Joe Hill, now their regular tailback. In the backfield along Garrettson. And on 3rd and 2, they hand it off to Hill. Bouncing off a tackler, spinning around, and he lunged forward just to get there. He got 3. He needed 2. It's a first down, Utah State. Mike, when the Aggies have the ball, give me your impact players.
Well, it starts with JoJo Natson. He's the most explosive weapon they have on offense. He's also their, he's the receiver, but he's also their leading rusher. But on the other side of the ball, Bills and Stout, the 2 leading tacklers on the team from the secondary and the linebacker position, have to stop him wherever he's at.
So the Aggies move the ball to the 36 of Utah State. Another fake fly sweep. This time Garrettson moving left and delivers a perfect ball right near midfield. Caught for a first down. That's JoJo Natson.
Both of these teams talk about how well coached each others are, and they have great respect for the systems that they run. Let's take a look again. He was juggling that a little bit as he went out of bounds. They may want to take another look.
Well, the ball, his knee was down, and that may end up determining the play. But the ball did come out as he landed out of bounds. 1st and 10. And that flanker in motion. They're not going to review it. And that is a fly sweep. Devontae Robinson out into the open. Makes a man miss inside the 30. Hit hard down to the 29.
This is a huge play in the Utah State offense. And really that's why JoJo Natson is their leading rusher, because they run this fly sweep to a lot of the receivers. They like to attack the flanks of this defense. They're not quite as big as the BYU offensive line. It's not as great a matchup inside. They feel their speed can help them get on the outside and get yards.
Now that was 20 yards, and now well into BYU territory inside the 30. So the Aggies showing something on offense. They bring Natson into the backfield, hand it off to Hill. And BYU read that beautifully. That's number 90, Bronson Kafusi. Mike, he may be the most talented BYU defensive player, but he's been out basically since week 1.
And he's got reach. He's 6'7", or whatever the case may be. They're so excited to get him back because of the length he brings to that defense, especially on the edge.
So 2nd down. Basically, Hill just got back to the line of scrimmage. So call it 2nd and 10. Handoff once again. Hill squirts through and gets inside the 25 down to the 24. So you got 5 yards to set up 3rd down.
Yeah, nice job of getting half of that back to set up a very manageable 3rd down. You've got to play on the receivers very tightly, because the quick passing game can get it. If you get off coverage, they're going to take that. You also want to spread the defense out as they're doing.
One thing to keep in mind, Utah State's kick game has been a disaster.
Yeah, so this could be 4-down territory.
Could be. That's Sharp in motion, and Garrettson drops the ball, now loses it backwards, and BYU makes a recovery. Jordan Johnson, the defensive back, picks up the fumble. Cougars get the turnover.
That's too bad, because that's one of those self-inflicted wounds that you hate to see happen in a good game. But you got to make sure, one of the things, you're not up there taking the snap under center, so you've got to watch that shotgun snap all the way in. Young quarterbacks sometimes tend to take their eyes to the read, so as they go, a little bit of a low snap, not too bad, but you got to cover that ball. And BYU is just a little bit faster getting to it.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Wells Fargo. When people talk, great things happen.
Some shots of BYU's Athletic Museum and Hall of Fame, which celebrates the great history of athletics here on this campus tonight, especially honoring Jim McMahon, one of the all-time great quarterbacks in college football history. At long last, they are retiring his number at halftime. He has officially graduated, so that means his number can make it up onto the facade here of LaVell Edwards Stadium, and the fans in their own way celebrating the legacy of Jim McMahon.
I had my shades, but I'm still looking for my headband. Where is it? Come on.
Well, Jim McMahon is here. Everybody's got those number 9 t-shirts. Taysom Hill and company. A powerful offense in their own right, and now a pass right side and read beautifully by Utah State. Taron Houck with the catch, but the immediate tackle in the open field by the true freshman Jalen Davis. Here's what we're talking about. The greats honored here in Provo. Detmer and Young and Nielsen and others, and yeah.
Somebody else to come.
See the curtain unveiled at halftime. 3rd down and 9. Hill looking to throw deep, wide open, and just a little bit out of the reach of the intended target there. Incomplete, trying to hook up with Mitch Matthews.
You know, this is one where he just needs a little bit more touch. He's got such a strong arm. Sometimes it gets away from him wide open. Nice patience in the pocket, though. He's getting better at sitting there and letting the routes develop down the field. Now he just has to increase his accuracy quotient.
So a 3-and-out for BYU's offense. And Scott Arlano, the punter, who by some measure, has been the best punter in college football this year. Natson, who's an excellent return man. That was not a great punt. Natson comes up and signals fair catch at the 20. So BYU hoping to make their way to the college football playoff on defense when we come back.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Well, look what's here. The national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper, making the trip to Provo, Utah on this beautiful October night. And part of the story here tonight, Mike, BYU, they're undefeated. They've climbed to number 18 in the country. And the Cougars, although it won't be easy, the strength of schedule is definitely going to be a hurdle. BYU feels like if they run the table, and they got a great shot to do it, then they can be at least in the conversation to grab one of those 4 playoff spots.
They will definitely be in the conversation. We'll have to determine at the end of the year if their strength of schedule has improved a little bit over what we perceive it to be now.
Utah State taking another shot deep, and that one wasn't real close. Intended for Damone Patterson, the freshman wide receiver, from the sophomore quarterback Darryl Garrettson from Chandler, Arizona.
You know, last time they had the ball, they drove 8 plays, and they really covered a lot of field, but you can't turn the ball over. You can't have an 8-play driver when you cross the 50-yard line end up in no points. That's not what's going to help them against BYU tonight.
Yeah, they had a third down inside BYU's 25-yard line, and the shotgun snap was dropped by Garrettson. Now Garrettson, for the first time, goes under center on 2nd and 10. And a handoff. Trying to find some room. Hill, and just nowhere to go. Swarmed by BYU's defense.
They like that 12 personnel configuration, 1 back, 2 tight ends. They think it gives them an advantage against BYU in terms of pass protection and run. There it did not.
That's a loss of 2. Now 3rd and 12. And these are the spots, Mike, where it seems like BYU dials up the pressure.
Yeah, you will watch them. They should have between 4, 5, or 6 people attacking the line of scrimmage. 4 or 5 will come, 2 will drop out.
And you see that number. Utah State has been a terrible third down team so far this year on offense. 3rd and 12. Here comes some of that pressure, but Garrettson, no. The whistle blew. That was a false start before the play even got going.
False start. 76 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You know, that can be called both ways, because the linebacker faked like he was coming, which is a football move, so the offensive lineman cannot flinch at all. And now they got themselves deeper in the hole. 3rd and 17. There's not a lot of plays that you like when you're 3rd and 17. And now BYU can decide to play zone, just let them dump the ball off, play deep. Nobody behind you, just tackle them, because you got 17 yards to tackle the receiver.
Cougars looking for the stop. And Garrettson, with still 10 on the play clock, trying to get some sort of signal. And now he is trying to communicate with the line with the play clock winding down. And I think they got it off. Handoff Hill. And pursued to the sideline, knocked out of bounds, well short of a 1st down.
They recognized that they were only going to rush 3, drop 8. They audible to a run play. They got half of it back, but when you're 3rd and 17, getting half doesn't help you.
So an 8-yard carry, 4th down, and the punt team will come out for Utah State. Garrettson talking to his head coach, Matt Wells, in his 2nd year as the head man up in Logan. A couple hours drive from where we sit here in Provo. Jaron Bentrude, the senior punter, kicks one high, and that is a penalty. Without question, the hit before the return man Blackman had a chance to catch it.
You know, that wasn't good. I'm not even sure why he would do that. He hit him before there was any chance the guy had not touched the ball. You got to give him your space. You can hit him, but I'll tell you what, it's not going to help the emotionally charged atmosphere that we have in this game.
Interference with the opportunity to catch the kick. Number 84 of the kicking team. Penalty will be 15 yards. 1st down.
So that's a big penalty on Damone Patterson, and his head coach not happy with him. And that guy, Taysom Hill, and BYU will have the ball when we come back here to Provo with excellent field position, starting near midfield. BYU and Hill already leading 7-0.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Great Sandwich Delivery, and in part by Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind.
Well, that was the scene last night just outside LaVell Edwards Stadium. First time all year that the students have been allowed to do that. Camp out to get in first, get the great seats, and maybe there are some of the folks who slept into sleeping bags. Under the stars in Provo, Taysom Hill and company back on the field. Jamal Williams with the carry, and immediately into Utah State territory. A gain of 6 on the first down run.
And when you start at almost midfield, you have great field position. You have to expect to get some points out of this type of drive.
Taysom Hill and the BYU offense down the field for a touchdown. First time they had the ball. That's an excellent open field tackle. I think Hill did get to the first down mark, and they will spot him with the first down. But Zach Vigil prevented that from being a much bigger gain.
The emotional leader of that football team. He and his brother Nick. Nick is the great playmaker. Zach is the great leader.
And that could have been a huge gain for Hill. Those kind of tackles are critical against the BYU quarterback. Play fake and pressured. He can't get away. Sacked by Elvis Kamanamatagi, the nose tackle. It'll be 2nd and long. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
Yeah, nice play for the Utah State defense that's looking to dial it back a little bit, play more base defense. Defensive coordinator Todd Orlando just saw too much hesitation. He wants his guys to be able to cut it loose out there.
Well, they cut it loose on that play. 7-yard loss. And it's hard to bring Hill down in the open field. It's hard to bring him down in the backfield.
It is. He's so elusive and so strong.
Flag thrown as the play got started. That's a penalty against the Cougars.
False start. 55 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's the referee, Rick Lumiere. Numbers for Utah State on the defensive side. Excellent run defense for the Aggies.
4th in the nation. Only 78 yards a game. I think 2.2 yards per rush average giving up coming into this game.
2nd and 22. Hill almost intercepted, and then off the fingertips of Taryn Hauk, his intended receiver. Brian Sweet, the safety, came over in coverage.
They're running more drop back, keeping him in the pocket, and just slightly misjudged this ball. Otherwise, that could have been picked.
3rd and 22. After the penalty, shy of midfield. Hill again looking to throw, again pressured and scrambling. Tripped up in the open field by the younger brother, Nick Vigil.
That was a heck of a tackle. Anytime you can tackle Taysom Hill one-on-one in the open field, that's a great play. Here they have him, just can't quite corral him back there. He's still looking down the field. Nice job there, but missed the stiff arm, and the guy got a chance to get his ankle. Nice play, Nick Vigil. Big playmaker for them.
4th and 15. The Cougars just across midfield are going to punt the ball back to Utah State. Scott Ariano, the punter. Natson standing at the 10. An end-over-end punt. Natson fair catch at the 15. Now that's where the Aggies are back on offense after a 30-yard punt. Well, on Saturday, division rivals clashing. That's tomorrow. 2 critical SEC West showdowns on ESPN. First at noon, it's Texas A&M on the road against that surprising but excellent Mississippi State team. And then LSU struggling and a real challenge on the road at number 5 Auburn. That one at 7 Eastern. Also on ESPN.
LSU got pushed around earlier this year by Mississippi State. I'm almost afraid what Auburn might do to it.
Now the Tigers may be licking their chops to go up against the Tigers, which doesn't happen very often. Garrett's in the quarterback, and the play fake. Quick throw to Natson, and Natson breaks a tackle with that great speed, and a flag thrown. That's going to be a late hit out of bounds that will tack on some extra yardage onto what was already a nice gain.
Natson, you have to be aware of where he is. He has such great acceleration if you don't take the correct angle. This is a great lead block there by the other receiver on the outside.
Foul with a late hit out of bounds. Number 2 of the defense. The penalty is 15 yards from where the play ended. First down.
And you could see right there, he purposely went out of bounds, stepped out of bounds before the contact. Not to draw it, but he thought he was going to be safe. Still got a hit, and that's the penalty. Yeah, BYU has to be very frustrated. They didn't take advantage of the field position and then get another 15-yard penalty on top of that.
16-yard gain, 15-yard penalty. Dallin Levitt, who is really a hard hitter in the secondary for the Cougars. So out to the 45 of Utah State for Garrettson and his offense. Looking to throw middle, and a pass that was incomplete, and that one could have been picked off, intended for Sharp. Robertson Daniel with the coverage.
You know, I talked to the coaches about Dallin Levitt because he shows up on film. He's a heat-seeking missile that's a little bit wild, and I asked Coach, what's the best thing about him? He says the best thing about him is he's wild. The worst thing about him, he's wild. He's got to tone it down just a little bit.
And number 2, he's the big hitter back there in the secondary. Sophomore from Portland, Oregon. Still plenty of time on the play clock for the Aggies. Garrettson looking to throw. Good protection. Pass is caught, turned upfield, and a first down with the run after catch from the junior Hunter Sharp.
He's actually their leading receiver on the field. JoJo Natson has touched the ball a lot more, but hasn't caught as many passes. And they like Sharp. He's also got speed and elusiveness.
12 yards on that completion. So they do have some weapons. Utah State does when they have the ball.
And they're a no-huddle team, but they're going to vary the tempo. They can go fast, but they really want to get a clear idea of what BYU is doing in terms of the rush.
The true freshman Lawan Hunt in the backfield. He gets the ball straight ahead, running inside the 40 to the 39. So that's 4 more yards for Utah State.
They want to use the fly sweep concept, that going to the outside to open up some inside running lanes for their power running. And they like to run downhill, but they know that they don't have enough muscle up front right now, so they've got to camouflage it a little bit.
Second and 6. The Aggies been pretty effective here in the first quarter, moving the ball. Play fake after the fake fly sweep. Garrettson again with all kinds of time. And to the far sideline, the pass is complete. It's Hunter Sharp again.
Nice double move. He was well covered initially, ran a post corner. Then we get another look at it. Just take a look right here. Goes to the inside and breaks. Does a great job of breaking flat away from the defender. Nice job to get the protection to let that route develop down the field.
23 yards through the air from Garrettson to Sharp. And once again inside the 20. The linebacker Nick Vigil once again in the backfield. And Vigil is going to get the ball, running right side and carrying that tackler with him. You see the power of big Nick Vigil. This is something we have not seen for the Yankees.
It reminds me of Miles Jack for UCLA, who starts at linebacker but comes over and is one of their best running backs when they choose to use him.
Well, he might be their star on defense, and maybe he's got a chance to be one when the Aggies have the ball. He's staying in the game this time. Straight behind Garrettson. You can see the quarterback.
They got to tell him where to line up
exactly.
and where to go each time. You go on the right side of me this time.
If I give you the ball, just start running toward the end zone. 2nd and 5. They give him the ball, and he is running toward the end zone. Still going. And he just knocked the safety backwards, Levitt, and got the first down.
That's a great football player, natural football player. When you tell him where to go, he doesn't know where to go, but he can feel it. You see us watching right there. Watch him make contact right there. Keep the feet driving, move the body.
Well, that was impressive. So 1st and goal, and why take him out? 7-play drive. This would be play number 8. They've already gone 79 yards. Under center. Sharp comes in motion. They give it to Nick Vigil. And not that time. Although with that power, he at least gets a yard.
Yeah, it's very important, imperative even, the Utah State get on the board. And certainly they would prefer a touchdown here. They have made mistakes at the end of both of their previous drives. They've got to cash this one in.
Well, Nick Vigil at Fremont High School in Plain City, Utah, he was an all-state running back. So he played linebacker, but was an excellent high school running back.
I have no doubt about that. They talked about him being one of the best athletes on the field.
Tight end in motion, Jefferson Court. Garrettson looking to throw. Pump fake, pressure. Garrettson scrambling and shoved out of bounds. He lost a yard, maybe a yard or 2.
Great coverage because there was plenty of time. BYU plays a matchup zone down there. They did a great job of keeping him from getting any of the receivers from getting open. Garrettson had nowhere to go. Nice job though of scrambling, get some positive yards, get down the field.
Peck gets credit for the sack. So 3rd and goal from the 7. Chucky Keaton, the normal starting quarterback, hurt and out for this game. His backup Garrettson in. Kennedy Williams in the backfield. A low snap, a little pump fake, but he delivers. Touchdown, Devontae Robertson.
You know, sometimes when the quarterback drops the ball, the defense pauses to take a look to see where they need to rush and come out of their pass coverage. I think that actually helped them in terms of the execution of this play.
So Robinson catches from Garrettson. 7-yard touchdown, and Utah State is an extra point away from tying up this game. 10-play drive, 85 yards, impressive. And Nick Diaz, these have not been automatic for Utah State. This time up and good. So the Aggies, an impressive drive. Their head coach Matt Wells happy about the way Utah State went down the field. The sophomore quarterback with the excellent delivery. Darryl Garrettson, yeah, you can be pumped about that one. Utah State has tied BYU 7 apiece. Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup heads to the contender round. 12 battling, 8 advancing points can all reset. It's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Kansas Sunday at 1 on ESPN. Presented by Dodge. We are here in spectacular Provo. LaVell Edwards Stadium is jam-packed tonight for this interstate rivalry. Utah State on the road. And they have tied BYU 7 apiece. Dave Fleming, Mike Bellotti, Allison Williams, Taysom Hill getting ready to get the ball back. Mike, yesterday we were here ahead of the game. Mike had a chance to stroll the field and chat with the Heisman Trophy candidate, Taysom Hill. Talk a lot of football. The kickoff from Thompson will go through the end zone. And let's hear a little bit of that conversation between Mike and Hill.
How's it feel to be on the Heisman list as a junior?
It's a great honor. You know, I think growing up, I obviously followed that award very closely. I watched in December's, and to be recognized among the athletes right now is just an honor. You know, I do my best not to worry about those things or those conversations, but it's a great honor.
Well, Taysom Hill, who is not just a great player, really fun to talk to, very insightful, a true leader on this team, with a pass completion to Taron Houck on first down after the kickoff. So it's 2nd and 5. And BYU made a substitution, so even though they get to the line, Utah State is allowed to substitute themselves. So the officials wait for the snap. Straight ahead running Jamal Williams, and just a little bit short of the first down.
Right up 3. And you saw the official run in and cover the ball and not allow the snap, because you're right, the offense substitutes, the defense has the opportunity to match that substitution.
Well, time's going to run out in the first quarter before BYU gets off this 3rd down play, and a competitive first quarter here in Provo. 7-7 the score.
Everybody goes where everybody knows.
Started the second quarter in Provo. BYU and Utah State tied at 7. Dave Fleming, Mike Bellotti, Allison Williams with you. And right away, first play of the quarter is a 3rd and 2 for the Cougars. And Hill's going to keep it. Why not? Taysom Hill to the 40, spinning around to the 45. And finally tackled there. So Hill pops up quickly after the first down. 12-yard gain.
3rd and 2 is probably going to be some opportunity for him to keep the ball on the edge. He had a chance, and he He's selfish in that regard, and it's a good selfish because he knows he can get 2 yards just about any time.
He should be the guy who carries the ball in that spot. So Hill nearing 500 yards rushing on the season. This is game number 5 for the Cougars. And the handoff, Williams, who's got that great burst of speed, was seeing some daylight out in front of him across midfield. Still a nice gain even after the tackle of 8 yards.
He's scary because he's so explosive. If you give him a step, he can get into the secondary so quickly. He doesn't give those guys angles or ability to make the tackles.
The second down and short. Williams again with the carry, broke a tackle there to the 40 and inside the 40. To the 37-yard line. First down, Cougars, 9 more yards.
BYU consistently ahead of the chains now, ahead of the sticks. 3rd and 2, 2nd and 1. They are getting such great first down plays. 3rd downs become very easy.
Hill pressured. It's a screen play. A catch by Mitch Matthews, but he really didn't have anywhere to go. He got basically back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, and he's a big target. Usually you throw that type of a screen to a smaller, quicker athlete, but he's a big target, 6'6" on the field, but not the fastest or quickest in terms of acceleration.
Hill takes that shotgun snap. And this time he hits Matthews. Out of bounds, short of the first down. It is a catch for about 8 yards.
That's unusual to come up a yard or 2 short. Yeah, like I said, I would have liked to seen that route run at the first down marker.
Well, the quick snap. Hill makes a man miss on 3rd and short. If he hadn't juked that defender, he would not have gotten the first down.
And there were 2 Utah State defenders standing there, and really he froze both of them. He is so quick and so explosive and so strong. They say he squats as much as most of the linemen.
And that was Zach Vigil, who's such a sure tackle who could not bring Hill down. So first down, BYU. 4-man rush in the pocket over the top. He's got Matthews. Beautiful delivery. Touchdown.
Well, I guess it's just the opening drive of every quarter they're going to score.
We saw Hill on the ground to start the game, now through the air to start the second quarter. And BYU back in front with the extra point coming. That was delivered just perfectly from Taysom Hill. And pretty good example of how his passing game, his touch, has improved so much. That one just hooks through the left upright. The extra point is up and good.
And as we take a look at this route, you see the quarterback had a lot of time. And really a nice throw. This is the kind of touch we're talking about. Over the top of the defender, drop it in, let him walk through the end zone.
Celebrating its 10th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, Allstate has donated $3.4 million in scholarship funds. Now Taysom Hill to Mitch Matthews for the touchdown. BYU, 18th ranked team of the country, undefeated 4-0 against a tough Utah State team here at home. Back in front 14-7 with Andrew Mickelson getting ready to kick it off deep.
This is an interesting return formation. There's nobody outside the hash at the top of the screen. You can't see it. Now you can. What I'm talking about right here, I think they're going to move once BYU gets in the kick position, because otherwise the pop kick into this area right here is a very real opportunity.
Well, let's see if Utah State adjusts. Yeah, they sort of shuffle over.
Yeah, exactly. Because you want to leave that opening out there.
That's a former head coach worrying about the details.
Special teams right there.
Kennedy Williams set up as the returner. Another low line drive kick and angled to the end zone, but it's going to be taken back by Sharp to the 15 with a flag thrown, staying in bounds and pushed out across the 20 at the 21. But we'll see who the penalty is against. You would guess Utah State. We'll see.
Way away from the
During
ball.
the return, holding number 33 of the receiving team. The penalty will be 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Well, part of a great day tomorrow. College football on Saturday and a huge game in the Big Ten. Amir Abdullah and the Cornhuskers going on the road to take on number 10 Michigan State Saturday 8 Eastern on ABC. Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo. That may be the game of the year in the Big Ten Conference.
No question. I think it's the Big Ten's hope, because now that Oregon has lost, that Michigan State loss doesn't look as good. They may hope Nebraska has to go on and win the whole thing.
Utah State down by a touchdown with the ball back. Their quarterback Darryl Garrettson in a pistol-type formation, and he faked the give, kept it himself with a flag thrown. Short gain. We'll see if that's against the Aggies. It looks like it is.
Holding, number 83 of the offense. Half the distance to the goal remains. First down.
That's the tight end Wyatt Houston. For a little more on that Michigan State-Nebraska game, let's go down to Allison Williams.
Dave, weather expected to be a big issue in that game in East Lansing. Heather Cox telling me today he'll be working the sidelines for that matchup. She said a lot of rain, lightning expected. The field is actually going to be covered until the teams arrive tomorrow. And the big thing everybody's talking about, something has to give with that Nebraska run game against Michigan State's defense. But Mark D'Antonio, the head coach for the Spartans, said he's got all his bullets. It's as healthy as they've been all year.
And that could be bad news for Nebraska. Hill with the carry as Utah State in poor field position here. Mike, how about a key matchup in that one we're talking about?
The matchup in that game that I want to see is the ever-ready bunny there, alias AA, Amir Abdullah, against the huge Marcus Rush and Shalik Calhoun, the defensive ends from Michigan State. They pressure the pass, the run. They've got to make sure that they keep the edge of that defense.
Batteries.
They might want to unplug that battery.
He does have a lot of energy, Abdullah. Tough spot here for the Aggies. Second and long. Inside their own 10. They swing it out to Hill, who gets a block. Hit across the 15. Still short of the first down, but some breathing room, and third down and a little bit more manageable coming up.
Absolutely, and that's what you hope for. If it's second and long, you're trying to get to a manageable third down, and third and 4 is very, very manageable, because that's still a run pass down. You have to defend all aspects of the game and all aspects of the field.
So a 9-yard play makes it 3rd and 5, and it's loud here in Provo. Garrettson looking middle, tipped up, and that one was almost caught on the deflection. Maybe it was. Lying on the ground, JoJo Natson somehow came up with the ball. It was tipped up in the air. Not only did he catch it, it's a Utah State first down.
Yeah, but that's a very, very dangerous throw. You can see the catch. He really does pick it right off the edge of the ground and actually bounces it to himself. But that ball could have been intercepted. You can see it comes right off of Kafusi, dropping into coverage there. Here's another look at it. Oh my gosh, great job of catching it in his hands and then corralling it on the ground.
Tipped up a first time, tipped up a second time, and that's just tremendous instincts from JoJo Natson. And I think they are going to want to look at this to make sure that was a clean catch.
The ruling on the previous play of a catch is under further review. There is no timeout charge to Utah State.
So the replay official is going to take a look. We'll take a break. The Cougars lead 14-7. Second quarter in Provo. BYU, 18th ranked team of the country, with a 14-7 lead over Utah State. Here's the play that was just reviewed at Mike. We took a good look at it. The replay officials did as well. The ball did not touch the ground.
Very fortuitous bounce of the ball for Utah State. I'll tell you what, that ball could have gone anywhere, but great individual effort to catch it.
So JoJo Natson with the spectacular play off the deflection, and the call was upheld. The official language call stands, so they did not confirm it, but the play counts. It's 1st and 10. And the handoff, Nick Vigil Back in there at running back, and I guess he's got a little shiftiness as well. Vigil, the linebacker, playing tailback here tonight, and that didn't look like a linebacker.
Okay, so they came into the game with the receiver being their leading rusher. Now the leading rusher in this game is a linebacker for him. So do you think they have problems in the running game? But he is really good. He has some natural ability, some speed, some strength. He's also got some vision and some trust in his instincts.
Well, we did not expect this. I'm sure older brother, who's sitting with his fellow linebackers, is pleased with what he's seeing from young Nick Vigil. 11-yard gain, 1st and 10 at a play fake. Garrettson looking toward that left sideline, and a great delivery, caught and finally pushed out of bounds. Devontae Robinson, who had the touchdown catch, and my goodness, at the end there, a collision with a part of our officiating crew.
That was one of the most violent hits on the field tonight.
Man, 36-yard pass play, but in the end, a very scary moment. And the BYU training staff right over there to have a look.
Utah State picking on Rob Daniel a little bit, who's supposed to be the best cover guy for BYU. They've had some issues in the secondary with locating the football and knowing where it is, and very difficult. Officials have to have eyes in the back of their head as they're administrating the game.
So a chance to take another look. And at the very end, oh man, the right leg. I guess that's the field judge, Joe Bluebaugh, and that was nasty looking. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe's going to be able to keep going in this game. I mean, maybe if you're a 19-year-old athlete, you can survive a collision like that, but that looked like a pretty severe leg injury. And I think it's clear they're treating it as such. So while they attend to Joe, we'll step aside. 14-7 BYU. Well, the good news is the field judge tonight, Joe Bluebaugh, walked off the field limping clearly, and whether he could come back into this game, I don't know. That would be in real doubt. But Joe, not as severe as maybe it looked on a first glance, so that's good news. But the field judge injured. Side, 1st and 10, and a little wildcat. Not a good snap though. Natson, he did not go down. Now cutting it back, and Garrettson trying to put a block on. Natson got hit there inside the 25 toward the 20. So he ran a long way to get 6 yards, and Natson a little shaken up.
He ran 40 or 50 yards to pick up 5 or 6, but still a great effort, a great run. You can see how explosive he is, and also how physically tough he is.
We've had a few problems Utah State has with the snap. And that was not a good snap. That interrupted the rhythm of that play. It's Garrettson back in at quarterback, and Vigil, the linebacker, to his left side, and a flag thrown.
You know, I will tell you, any of those snaps, as long as they're anywhere between the
False
knees.
start. 75 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
The knees and the top of the head of the quarterback are all on the quarterback. They've got to watch it. If you had to play the game with your hand between your legs and snap the ball and have a 300-pound guy sitting on your nose, anywhere snap is good. The quarterback's got to handle those.
But those snaps down by the ankles, almost skipping along the ground.
But they still got to get them. You got to be an athlete back there, quarterback. You got to bend your knees and watch the ball.
Kennedy Williams now instead of Vigil, the tailback after the penalty. Williams nowhere to go. Remington Peck with the tackle, among others. Gain of a yard to set up 3rd down.
That was probably an incorrect read right there by Darryl Garrettson. They had 2 coming off the edge, 1 to cancel the dive, 1 to cancel him. He should have thrown the ball outside to get it to the wide receiver, the 3rd option in that package.
Technically in field goal range, realistically, I don't know. The way their field goal game has gone this year.
I don't think so either. I think they're going to try and get it all here, or certainly it could be 4-down territory.
3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Garrettson in the pocket. He throws, and the pass is caught short, and the quick tackle short of the first down. Natson had it, but could not get there. Just a couple yards. Call it 4 to set up 4th down, and we'll see what Utah State decides to do. They are sending the field goal team out there, and it looks to me like it's Jake Thompson, not the short distance kicker, the longer distance kicker. Thompson, who has not connected on one all year. He's 0 for 3. This one will be spotted down around the 31, so call it a 41-yard try.
Let's see if they have some type of a fake on. They have not been the most astute kicking team. That's going to help them.
Wow.
That could be a first down right there.
Well, that was Jordan Johnson, and that is against BYU. It was 4th and 4.
Offside, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, makes the first down.
Where were you going, Jordan Johnson? What a huge penalty and mistake that is.
What were you looking at? He might have seen somebody flinch, but you're right. That's another self-inflicted. That's a key one, because now if this drive results in something other than a field goal, it's going to be all on BYU's mistake.
Well, BYU, they have piled up the penalties this year, and that one hurts.
And that's one that coach has talked about. He doesn't mind the penalties during the course of the play from snap to whistle. The ones before the snap or after the whistle are frustrating for everybody.
Well, one of the big playmakers, JoJo Natson, on the bench on the sideline, not in the game. Rashad Hall, the tailback, and he gets it straight ahead inside the 15 down to the 14. That's 4 yards on first down.
They're having success right now, surprisingly, running right at this BYU defense.
And look who's back in. So he had his helmet off 30 seconds ago.
He was just taking a breather. I don't think you can keep him out of the game very long.
Sit down on the bench without your helmet. Okay, one play later, right back in. Hall once again the tailback. Garrettson complete. A quick tackle. Out of the open field, Ronald Butler with the catch, and we'll see where they spot the ball. That was close with forward progress.
Craig Bills is a great tackler in the secondary. He is really quick, sure tackler, one of the best they have in the open field.
And you can tell they spotted him short, and I think that was a good spot.
I think it's a good spot. I think that's a very, very good spot.
So now it's 3rd and a yard, and in a pistol formation, the linebacker Vigil is behind the quarterback, and look at the wind sprint from the head coach Bronco Mendenhall, who ran down the sideline to call.
This is the first time out of the first half called by BYU.
When we come back to Provo.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Cooper Tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go. And Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans.
Number 9, Jim McMahon with his old head coach LaVell Edwards. Last night, the ceremony to induct Jim into the BYU Hall of Fame. There he is on the sideline at halftime with the athletic director Tom Olmo. They will retire his number here inside the stadium.
I heard he borrowed that coat from LaVell. I'm not sure about that.
That was a heck of a coat. 3rd and 1. Nick Vigil, the tailback. Garrettson under center out of the BYU timeout. And they will give it to the big kid. Vigil powering his way forward, easily gets the first down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 5.
I think that timeout worked as well for Utah State because they were in the pistol 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. I think they thought about, let's take it up closer, the threat of the quarterback sneak, and now give it to Vigil off the edge.
Well, I'm with you. And Nick Vigil, he's doing a Miles Jack impersonation tonight. The star linebacker moving over to tailback. Sharp comes in motion. They give it to Vigil. Made one tackler miss, but not another. Tripped up right around the line of scrimmage. Craig Bills gets in there to help make the play.
I would think rather than run it now, they may put Garrettson on the edge with a little play action or some type of a movement to give him some opportunity to let a route develop into the back corner of the end zone.
5 yards a rush for Vigil so far in this game. They need 5 to get to the end zone. This has been a 12-play drive. They've gone all the way down the field. The fake Reverse, and Garrettson sprinting out, goes and dives in. Touchdown, Utah State. You called it.
Well, at that edge of the field, you have the far right to work to. The quarterback can move. They're in a running formation, and BYU had everybody at the line of scrimmage, so it was a nice time to call play action.
An extra point away from tying this game.
You see it here from ground level. A nice play fake, sort of a token play fake, but on the move, and then they covered everybody but allowed him to run in. There was nobody for the quarterback.
13 plays, 88 yards for the Aggies. Nick Diaz ready for the extra point. And the kick is up and good. A tie game with 4:40 to go until halftime. And we mentioned how during halftime they are going to have the official on-field ceremony to retire the number of the great Jim McMahon, who is standing by with Allison Williams.
Thank you guys very much, Jim. First of all, congratulations. What will it mean to you to be able to look up there at the half and see your number 9 hanging up in the rafters here?
Well, it's going to be exciting. You know, it's taken me 37 years to graduate from here, so I was glad I was able to get that done for my folks and see a bunch of old teammates that came back this weekend. It's been great.
Because you did graduate, you were eligible to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and have your number retired. Why was it important for you to come back and get your degree?
I promised my dad I'd do it. You know, him and my mom. I wanted to make sure that they were, were happy with my college degree. So I got it done for them and for LaVell Edwards. I told them I'd get it done, and I was glad to do it.
BYU has seen several great quarterbacks throughout the years. One of them playing tonight in Taysom Hill. What are your impressions of his abilities?
He's a heck of an athlete. You know, he's a big, strong kid. He can run. He can throw the football. I'd like to see him throw it a little bit more tonight. I'm not used to seeing all this running from BYU quarterbacks. So I think he's got a great chance of doing great things here.
Jim, it was a nice ceremony last night for you, but I think what really stood out was your attire, the jacket you were rocking. How would you describe your look last night? What were you going for there?
Well, I had my regular tux jacket and shirt, but that's not me. You know, I've always been a little colorful, and I wanted to go out that way.
It was certainly memorable. You pulled it off. Jim, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah, I think that was a little more Jim than the regular tux jacket.
I wonder if I can borrow that for some of the other functions I go to. That is a statement jacket, I would call it.
You think he's ready for the ceremony at halftime? And it has been. Look, he said it, 37 years. They don't retire a player's number unless that player gets a degree. And so it took Jim a while, but he got that college degree. And so honoring one of the all-time greats in BYU history. There's a fumbled exchange. And Utah State, they think they have it. Jamal Williams tried to rip the ball away himself. So they'll dig through the pile and take a look. The initial indication, yeah, it's Aggies football. You think Utah State is fired up for this game?
Let me say this, 10 plays has been the magic number for Utah State. If they put 10 plays in the drive, they're going to score. Here you can see just a turnaround, just some confusion on whether or not he's going to get the ball or putting it in there all the way. Let's take a look from this angle. Yeah, I really am not sure that the tailback, Jamal Williams, knew he was going to get the ball. I think that might have been a read, and he didn't feel it enough.
So Hill and Williams are going to talk about that. But a turnover in this part of the field on the first play after the touchback. The Aggies have a great opportunity to take the lead with 4:34 to go until halftime. A little pump fake. Garrettson going to the end zone. He's got his man caught and touchdown. Second one of the night for Devontae Robinson. 22 yards. Utah State leads.
Wow, that looked easy. That was a nice stop-start route, and the reality is, we want to check and make sure that he did catch us, have control in the end zone, got the foot down with control of the ball. That looks right there. So yeah, it's a touchdown. Nice double move. The BYU defender bit really hard. Then nice touch pass from Garrettson just over the top, led him perfectly.
One play after the turnover. And Darryl Garrettson, the backup, Chucky Keaton, the star for Utah State, is out indefinitely. Garrettson, who does have a good bit of playing experience, but he's playing like a star in this first half. Extra point is up and good. So all those long drives for the Aggies. This one, after the turnover, one play, 22 yards, and pay dirt.
That's the best kind of drive you can have, a one-play drive right there.
Well, Taysom Hill anxious to get back on the field. We get a chance to remind you on Monday Night Football, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks on the road against Kirk Cousins and Washington. It's the Seahawks at 8:15 in Washington on ESPN. And watch ESPN. And that Wilson Cousins matchup, does that sound familiar?
37-31 Hail Mary win at the end of the game.
Go back to 2011, one of the classic games of that year or recent college football history. And it was Cousins who beat Wilson as an underdog. 37-31 the final on a truly memorable play.
I think Russell Wilson might even have scored with the team around him now.
I believe that's what the experts expect come Monday night. But the Seahawks on the road, maybe a little different team than playing in their home.
It is really tough playing up in Seattle, right? The noise there and the 12th man that they have. The fans have done a great job.
21-14 Utah State taking advantage of that turnover, and now they have to kick it back to BYU. Jake Thompson's done a good job with the kickoffs for the Aggies. That last touchdown drive, one play, 7 seconds off the clock, and that'll be another touchback. Well, Dave Fleming and Mike Bellotti here in Provo, and Mike, this is a shocker. Utah State comes into this game 3 touchdown underdogs against undefeated BYU playing at home. Here we are a few minutes before halftime. They lead in this game.
Sometimes it's more difficult to be the favorite at home. You're the underdog. You come in. Utah State is a very well coached team, as both teams have talked about how well they think the coaches prepare them.
And you can't underestimate the power of what this means to the Utah State kids. They are underdogs not just in terms of the point spread, but in this rivalry inside this state, this football crazy state. So many of these kids maybe grew up dreaming of coming to BYU, weren't recruited by the Cougars. I mean, there's a little chip on the shoulder aspect to this game.
No question. And they're missing Chucky Keaton, Swindoll, the receiver. Fackrell, one of their best defensive players. So this is a team that other guys are stepping up, which you like to see as a coach.
Taysom Hill to Matthews, just enough, 6 yards for the first downs. BYU, with their quick tempo offense, certainly plenty of time to go down the field.
No question. There's a lot of game left right now.
Hill just under 100 yards through the air. Williams with that burst, first down and more. Almost to midfield, finally tackled at the 47-yard line. Jamal Williams, who is so ball secure. That's the first fumble he has ever lost in 450 career carries. I'm not sure you could pin it all on Williams.
I would say that was more an exchange issue, or maybe, as we said, he may not have known he was going to get the ball. Maybe they heard Jim McMahon too. He said he likes to see him throw the ball more. They came out throwing. Now they're right back to the ground game there.
Williams inside Utah State territory with that extra effort down to the 49. So 3, almost 4 yards.
And where we are right now, 3:13, this is a perfect drive for BYU. They'd like to take 2 or 3 minutes off the clock, score a touchdown, tie this game up, and not give Utah State any time to respond.
Hill, and maybe reacting to that pressure show of the Utah State defense, comes up to the line, makes a change. Number 4 will fake the handoff, sort of sprinting right, using the stiff arm, but not to great effect. He got a couple yards and tackled very hard by the safety Brian Sweet.
Good speed by Sweet, because
Taysom
Hill, he may have came down on his knee or his ankle. It looks like he's hobbling a little bit.
Yeah, you could tell that was a hard tackle, and he is really hurting. Was not putting any weight on his left leg. Oh, my goodness.
Let's take a look right here. Is a great angle to watch it. Oh, the left ankle. Yeah, he got trapped underneath the body of Sweet, the safety.
Well, now whistles and a timeout. Utah State. Christian Stewart, the backup quarterback, is in. But obviously this is an enormous story for BYU, for Taysom Hill, for the Heisman Trophy, for the college football landscape, and Hill is in a lot of pain.
And is this reminiscent of 2 years ago when he went down in this game?
Hurt himself against Utah State. It ended his year 2 seasons ago. There's mom and dad. And on the right side there, that is Taysom's wife. They got married in the college football offseason. And you you can understand some concern from his family. Take another look at that play. The safety sweep trying to drag Hill down. Yeah, that left ankle, left knee maybe.
I think it's left ankle, and it looks like it could be serious. You know, he's a stud. He's a tough young guy, but it's just hard to protect yourself all the way around. He's holding that ankle up right there.
Yeah, he knew right away. So the backup in, Stewart gives the ball to Williams straight ahead and short of a first down. It'll be 4th down coming up at about a yard. We'll see if the Cougars decide to go for it.
And it's interesting to see how a team will respond when your acknowledged leader goes down or goes out of the game.
Wow, that does not look good. So they are going for it on 4th and 1 with Williams the tailback. And that was movement. On 4th and a yard, that changes the whole deal if that's against BYU.
It does. In fact, it looks like they're going to bring the punt team on. Difficult, obviously, when you bring a new quarterback in, sometimes the cadence is slightly different.
False start. 78 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Well, they've had some critical penalties. That's another one. They had one that extended the drive that tied the game for Utah State when the Aggies had the ball. This one takes away their chance to go for it on 4th down. Now, they will punt the ball away unless there's some sort of fake coming up. And Taysom Hill is in a lot of pain. You just hate to see that. One of the great players in the country pressured on the punt. But Ariano gets it off. Fair catch signal, and Natson backpedaling makes it just across the 10-yard line. They'll spot him out at the 13.
37 yards.
The teammates are concerned, and those hands on the head, hands on the face. There's not been a lot of relief in terms of the pain for Hill. And finally, he's trying to sit up a little bit.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised for them to put some type of an air cast on it. And ice and yeah.
Well, we can't see it, but
they have immobilized the left leg.
Yeah, apparently that's what they've done. They put something like a cast or a boot of some sort. Well, Utah State with the lead and with the ball with 1:40 to go and 2 timeouts remaining. Handing it off. And a little cutback run for number 21, Lawan Hunt.
Yeah, it's interesting how they'll play this. They have the time. I'm not sure they like the field position in terms of going to a true 2-minute mode. They're always in no huddle, but they're taking a lot more time, and it looks as if they're comfortable at this point to sit with the lead.
They're getting that card out. Well, who knows? They throw the ball and get the first down. That's another catch for Hunter Sharp. So the first down, they'll stop the clock just to spot the ball. And now wind it again.
Yeah, they're going more warp speed now. They're going faster, so I think they like. Maybe they got across the 25, which is the magic marker for them.
Garrettson with time. He's going to go deep now. He's got his man Sharp caught in stride. 20, 10, touchdown.
I'm not sure what I'm more amazed by. The lack of a pass rush for BYU or the poor coverage in the secondary.
Just an awful couple minutes for the Cougars. Taysom Hill on the cart going back to the locker room. And Utah State with the gigantic play, 72 yards.
When your leader goes down, you either buck up or you go into shell shock. Right now, BYU looks shell shocked.
Hunter Sharp. So now the extra point, 3 plays, 87 yards, less than a minute, still 55 seconds to go until halftime. And another extra point up and good for Utah State. They lead by 2 touchdowns, and that is the worst news of all for BYU. You just hate to see that. And he's still hurting big time.
I think it's a combination of disappointment, and it's as much the anguish of being hurt and not being able to help his team besides the physical pain.
Yeah. So they are stunned here in Provo, and why would they be? 21 unanswered points for Utah State, and the star quarterback, the Heisman Trophy contender, is hurt. This is another look at that long touchdown pass.
Just runs right by the corner. The corner's eyes are in the backfield. Nothing should have caused that to allow him to let the receiver run by. Hunter Sharp, one of the guys at flying 40 speed. They love his speed and ability to track the ball down the field. Darryl Garrettson, I think, crazy with joy, I guess.
Playing out of his mind and acting like it. He has had a tremendous first half. Remember, the star quarterback for the Aggies is not playing tonight, Chucky Keaton. And Darryl Garrettson, as a true freshman, he was 6-1 as a starter last year. He has started a game this season, so it's not like he doesn't have any experience, but still, against a tough BYU defense, a spectacular first half performance. And maybe a chance for a return. Adam Hine, left side to the 15 and stumbles ahead to the 20. So 49 seconds to go until halftime. Coming up in the halftime report, those great games in the SEC West. We'll talk about those. Phil Steele's predictions and some highlights from Jim McMahon's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. All that coming up at halftime. Well, now we'll see if BYU's willing to be aggressive with 2 timeouts. And their backup quarterback in. That was almost a missed exchange. Stewart to the 35 goes into a slide. There is a flag down on the field. Now, not on the hit. Behind the play is the penalty flag.
It's coming back. The officials bringing it back.
Holding number 57 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Watch it right here as this happens. You take a look, and unfortunately, right there, actually horse collars somewhat the guy down, which right in the view of the official.
Yeah, that was an easy call. So 1st and 20 and backed up just outside their own 10. Hand off Williams, nowhere to go. Nick Vigil, who's been a star carrying the ball on offense, back at his normal linebacker spot. Another part of this surprise first half performance for Utah State.
Utah State very resourceful as a coaching staff. Obviously, when you have, as I talked about, coming into this game, a receiver was their leading rusher. Tonight, a linebacker is their leading rusher. Wow, that's using all your resources.
So BYU is just going to try to regroup in the locker room. And Bronco Mendenhall, a lot to be unhappy about. Everybody here just shocked with the score, with their star carted off the field. Utah State up 2 touchdowns. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
Coach Mendenhall, such a difficult scene to see Taysom Hill carted off. We see the left leg immobilized. What more can you tell us at this time?
Not sure at this point. They'll go do x-rays at halftime.
How do you even begin to quantify the significance of his loss?
We have the rest of the team that has to respond and overcome through our executions other than just one great player.
What do you tell them when it comes to dealing with the emotions of seeing Hill injured?
Oh, just that. They each need to do their best to compensate.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think under the circumstances, some wise words from Bronco Mendenhall. It is halftime. BYU down 2 touchdowns, 28-14. Well, it's halftime here in Provo, sort of a somber mood after the ups and downs. 28-14, Utah State. They did have a ceremony during halftime to honor the great Jim McMahon. Let's take a look.
But it's a great honor to be up on this wall with my fellow teammates, great quarterbacks, great players, and great people.
Jim McMahon's number 9 retired here in Provo. He got his degree, came back, and as he said, lots of teammates were here. Dave Fleming, Mike Bellotti in Provo, and Jim McMahon, really one of the all-time greats in college football history, a program with so much history at quarterback. And the big story from our game, unfortunately, Mike, Taysom Hill, who is a standout for BYU, looked to be a severe, we're guessing left ankle, left leg injury of some sort. We don't have any details yet. They were taking x-rays at halftime, but a huge blow for a great kid and a great player.
By his response on the field, it looked like a very serious ankle injury. The real question is how this team can respond, whether they can pick up the slack. They've got young players, they've got veterans, but somebody, when you have a great player go down, when Bronco came into our meeting the other day, he said, first of all, I'll tell you, we have a good quarterback. We have a great quarterback that can make up for a lot of our deficiencies. He no longer has that quarterback. So other people are going to have to step up. The running backs, the wide receivers, the defense. I have been shocked at the lack of productivity of the rush game in terms of getting Garrettson uncomfortable in the pocket, and the coverage down the field has not helped that any. So they can definitely play better. They're only two scores down, but they've lost the spark guy on offense.
Taysom Hill, almost exactly 2 years ago to the day against this same Utah State team, hurt his knee in garbage time, really, as the game was ending, and that ended his season in early October. And now tonight, here's the play, trying to get away from that safety, and you can see the left leg and particularly the left ankle. He knew it right away, and they had him on the sideline. They carted him off to the locker room to take some x-rays during halftime. But the star, Taysom Hill, is hurt. BYU hurting. They're down, and we'll come back with more at halftime right after this. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Start of the second half in Provo under the lights at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Utah State big underdogs, up 2 touchdowns, 28-14 over undefeated BYU. The national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper here in Provo, and the BYU folks legitimate hopes coming into this game of running the table and maybe as a long shot having a chance to play for that trophy. Dave Fleming, Mike Bellotti here in Provo. Mike, those chances may be slipping away with the 2 touchdown deficit and now without their quarterback.
No question, and they're going to have to play better defense regardless of what happens on offense. They've got to get a better pass rush and certainly better pass coverage. Now they have to find a way with Christian Stewart at quarterback to manufacture some offense. So it's a lot of guys have to step up.
Well, right at the end of the half, 2 quick strikes. There was a turnover, BYU. First play after the turnover, that touchdown pass. Then after the Hill injury and a punt, 72 yards to Hunter Sharp. And Utah State, yeah, Darrell Garrettson, he was going crazy, the sophomore quarterback, with his best half of his young career. 28-14 the score, and Utah State gets the ball.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing. You never realize it at the end of the half to say, uh-oh, they get the ball again right now.
Well, 3 touchdown underdogs, up by 2 scores, and really, you know, the Hill injury hangs over everything right now. But that did not impact the first half. It happened right at the end of the half. Maybe it impacted the final drive for BYU, but Utah State thoroughly outplayed BYU in a lot of ways, even while Hill was there.
They did. It'll be interesting to see how the tempo of BYU, if they can sustain it, will even affect Utah State.
Kickoff is into the end zone and a touchback. Well, the first half, I mean, it was a wild one and certainly not going to form. Taysom Hill, 2:43 to go in the half with the leg injury. Darrell Garrettson, 14 of 17 with 3 touchdowns. That ties his career high. Devontae Robinson had never had a touchdown catch before tonight. He's got 2 of them. 4 catches total for Robinson. And the BYU defenders trying to get this crowd going. And Mike, I think the Cougars, they need some of that emotional help from their fans to try to bounce back.
They need some stops on defense, and or even better, they need turnovers.
You know, another big story, number 41, Nick Vigil, who had never carried the ball in his college career, will get a carry here to start the 3rd quarter. Bounced away from a tackler, trying to get to the left side, and look at that dive forward. He got 4 yards. There was nothing there. That was all Nick Vigil.
Have we noticed, are they spelling him on defense a little bit? Because he is playing quite a bit on offense, so, or he's playing a lot of football tonight.
Well, Vigil will take this next play off. A lot of effort to get those 5 yards. 2nd down and 5. And the starting tailback, the more conventional tailback, Joe Hill.
We've talked about this 12 personnel group, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. They like this. They feel it gives them their best advantage against BYU's defense.
One of those tight ends in motion. Plenty of time. Garrettson again on target. And the catch by Devontae Robinson.
And right now it seems as if BYU is struggling to read, run, pass with the 12 personnel in the game for Utah State, the 2 tight ends. The move tight end there, they're giving that receiver so much room on the outside. That's an easy throw and catch.
9-yard completion, 15 of 18 for Darrell Garrettson. With Utah State star quarterback Chucky Keaton hurt and out of this game, re-injured at leg injury and knee injury from last year. They're going to flip it to Robinson, and he cuts forward, gets popped hard by Levitt, and he does pop up.
Levitt, we talked about him being a heat-seeking missile, and that's the type of hit that you come to expect from him. I mean, and it's a legal hit, but certainly he's the bigger of the two, and he had more momentum at that point than the ball carrier.
Wow. So Dallin Levitt, the sophomore safety, after a gain of 4, 270 yards through the air for the Aggies of Utah State. This is a Utah State team that last game went on the road to Arkansas State, and in an overtime game got 14 points on the board.
They struggled offensively, no question. They're having much better success tonight.
Garrettson, the pass complete. Another big hit by Levitt. There is a flag down on the play. They're going to spot very close, but it looks like short of the first down. That time Hunter Sharp with the catch. But I think this one's going against the Aggies. He thinks so too.
Broncos saying
illegal
yes.
formation with 5 men in the backfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Broncos signaling, take that penalty, move them back.
So instead of 3rd and short, 2nd and long, the BYU defense, they have been so stout at times this year, but the one weakness coming in through the air, and Utah State has really exploited that.
No question. They've got a amount of yards that they've given up for an entire game already in the start of the second half.
2nd down and 11 after the penalty. Garrettson, a screen play. Hill hits him in stride. Hill spins through that first tackle attempt and gets to the 40.
Didn't get as much as they wanted. They were hoping to get back to that manageable situation. 3rd and 9 is not that. This allows BYU to come at them in some way, shape, or form, probably some type of zone blitz. Although they're going to spread them out and make sure if they do come, they got to come from distance so the quarterback can see it.
They are trying to get loud here in Provo. Here comes a blitz. Picked up momentarily. Garrettson, there was a whistle. We couldn't even hear the whistle. A flag before the snap. Nobody heard it. It was so loud.
False start. 74 the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That left tackle's put in a bind. He saw that guy coming from way outside, and he knows that that's a speed rusher way outside his comfort zone. He's got to take that little step. He just jumped the snap count a little bit.
The left tackle Kevin Wimpy, who's probably their best offensive lineman. And now it's 3rd and 14.
Pain to injury. You're right. You're back now where it's going to take a big play to get that first down.
A handoff. And Utah State being pretty conservative. You can sort of understand that. Williams with the carry. How about another update on Taysom Hill with Allison Williams?
The latest from the BYU locker room is that it is a left leg fracture for Taysom Hill, the extent of which they will not reveal at this time. He is in the locker room with doctors and his families. It is the same leg that he injured 2 years ago against Utah State, but it is not his knee, which is good news. But we do not know at this time how long Taysom Hill will be out for.
So terrible news. Thanks for the report, Allison. But the x-rays came back positive. A fracture of some sort, whether that's lower leg or ankle, we don't yet know. But Taysom Hill is out. BYU up against it without their star, down 28-14. Tomorrow, great matchups all across college football. How about in the SEC West on ESPN? First at noon, it's Texas A&M, 6th-ranked team in the country on the road to take on number 12 Mississippi State. And then Les Miles and LSU in Auburn. The 5th-ranked Tigers hosting 7 Eastern on ESPN. Just part of a tremendous day for college football coming up tomorrow. There's so many matchups of the best teams in the country going head-to-head. So the backup second-string quarterback Christian Stewart with the pass completion. And a little bit more on Taysom Hill. Once again, Allison Williams.
Well, in talking today with Holly Rowe, who will be covering that game, she reminded us LSU will be starting true freshman quarterback Brandon Harris, his first start ever. They've been trying to prep for the last 2 weeks to prepare for the noise at Auburn and their SEC schedule going forward.
Oh, thank you, Allison. Of course, that referencing that matchup LSU-Auburn, Taysom Hill is out of this game. Allison gave us the report a moment ago where he's got a fractured left leg. No specifics on where the fracture is. But Christian Stewart, as far as we can find, Mike, that was the first pass completion of his career.
Two things for us to watch in this half. What they do offensively. Is there something different for Christian Stewart that this offense will change slightly?
He's not Taysom Hill in the open field, that's for sure.
And then the energy of the players on offense. Each one of them, all 11 on the field, have to take up the slack for losing Taysom Hill. They have to play better. They have to demand more of each other.
And that's no knock on Stewart, who's a senior,
no.
junior college transfer. There's nobody who's like Taysom Hill at the quarterback spot in the open field in the country. 2nd and 11. Back to pass. And he delivers a good ball to Matthews, who spins away from the tackle. Mitch Matthews to the 40 and out of bounds there. So maybe the Cougars can get perked up a little bit. That was a nice pass.
We talked about Matthews being a rangy guy, 6'6", not the fastest, but he's actually he's got some sneaky moves. He avoided the tackle that time, does a nice job, and he's a big target down the field.
Well, Christian Stewart 2 for 2 his first couple passes in a BYU uniform. It's been lonely as Taysom Hill's backup. Handoff this time, right side running. That is Algie Brown, who's a talented sophomore. His first carry of the game, 3 yards.
You know, one of the things we talked about too, if you're going to attack Utah State, you probably should do it through the air. They're one of the best teams against the run in the nation.
2nd and 7. Christian Stewart, a play fake, pressured, but gets it away. Matthews too far. Might have gotten tangled up with the defender there. He did ultimately have a step. That was Daniel Gray with the coverage.
Out and up double move. He was coming open. That ball was thrown just a little bit too far to the outside. Probably, again, Christian Stewart a little bit excited maybe about his chance. I think he's open. I got to throw this. Put a little bit too much on it.
So that was an opportunity for a big play. Instead, it's 3rd and 7. 4 receivers in the formation for the Cougars. Pressure right up the middle. And a little wide receiver screen. Nice move. Leslie across midfield. Cuts it right to the 30. Still going down to the 20-yard line. Jordan Leslie.
Great call by the BYU offensive staff. They got him in the blitz. Great move right there to avoid the would-be tackler and get down the field. Jordan Leslie says, hey, I'll take up some slack.
Threw it a couple yards. He went 37 all told down to the Utah State 20. BYU down a couple touchdowns, but moving the ball with their backup in the game. Stewart dancing around. Stewart going to run, and he goes into a slide. And here come 2 different flags, and that'll be against the Aggies.
Yeah, when you slide and become somewhat a defenseless player, you cannot hit him, and you certainly can't hit him with your helmet. I don't know what this call is going to be, but it's certainly going to be probably the 15-yard variety.
That is number 5, the linebacker LT
Personal
Filiaga.
foul, number 91 of the defense. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, that ends up being against Siwa Taufa. Well, they both came in and put the hit on. Really, you could have called it on either one.
Actually, I thought, yeah, they actually hit each other, but the fact that they led it with their helmet, I think, is what got them in trouble.
1st and goal, BYU. Couple of running backs with Stewart. And he's going to throw. Ball was tipped, and then it's intercepted. On the deflection, picked off. Torrey Green, the linebacker, in the right place at the right time. And BYU on the doorstep turns it over.
Actually, a very good throw by Stewart. Let's see if it gets tipped at all. Yeah, it was tipped, which again changes the trajectory. Bounced off the would-be receiver. Great pursuit by the defense. That's the tip drill you practice every day.
John Taylor, the defensive lineman for Utah State, got the tip. And Jordan Leslie, he'll be frustrated. To me, it's hard to blame him. Once the ball gets tipped, that's a tough play for a receiver.
When the trajectory of the ball changes and you're already starting to know where you're going to catch it and then sneak a peek at the DB to make the move, that's really difficult.
Second turnover for BYU. Terrible field position for the Aggies. Vigil in the game at running back. And a handoff to Nick Vigil, trying to get to that left side, and he just barely makes it out of the end zone. Jordan Johnson, the cornerback, with the tackle.
You know, I tell you what, it is bad field position, but they're very happy they got the ball.
Yeah.
So they're not going to worry about that. They're turning away a would-be touchdown, and they get the ball back with a chance. But you're right, you got to be careful down here. They're only at the 1 yard line, so if you take the ball off the line of scrimmage very far, you got to watch out for penetration by the BYU defense.
A chance for the Cougars defense to make a big play. From the 1. Handoff. And hit right at the goal line. I think they'll spot him outside the end zone. It's not going to be a safety. He maybe lost a half a yard. Lawan Hutt was just hammered.
They came with a great penetration by BYU. Great pursuit. You can see him definitely got outside the end zone, but just barely. Nice job. And they're going to come. I wouldn't be surprised to see them throw the ball right here. Just take a shot on the outside. See if you can get free coverage, off coverage. If you get tight coverage, you're going to throw it deep. Off coverage, you're going to try and get the first down.
Garrettson, handoff, Vigil, and not much breathing room there. Maybe got a yard.
I'll tell you what. This is a problem now for the punter because now you're much closer than you normally are. You got to watch out for the end line. You're much closer to the rush lane. So I would not be surprised at all to see BYU come after this punt. Either way, they're going to get great field position as long as they don't rough the punter.
That's Jaron Bentrud, the senior punter, right up against it. So the snap has to be good. There can't be a bobble, and you got to get rid of the ball very quickly. From right outside the goal line. And he gets the punt off. A high, short kick, and returnable. Already in Aggies territory. A cutback and a trip up as Devon Blackman, I think he saw a big return set up there. What a special teams tackle for Utah State. But BYU, good field position when we come back.
Welcome back to Provo. BYU trailing Utah State 28-14 here in the third quarter. And towards the end of that first half, the Cougars losing their starting quarterback, their potential Heisman candidate in Taysom Hill, out now with a left leg fracture. We do not know the extent of the injury, but he, of course, will not be returning tonight. So the question going forward, how will this BYU team respond to Taysom Hill's injury? You can go two ways. You can be down or you can use it to motivate yourself. And that's what's going on throughout this game. This is the loudest, the most verbal, the most energetic I have seen the BYU sideline. They were flat in that first half, but they have tried to use this injury as motivation. They are more alive than they have been all game, despite being down 14 points. Guys.
All right, thanks, Allison. I think you like to hear that because an injury like that can have such a devastating effect to a team where, I mean, Taysom Hill, the unquestioned, not just star, but leader of this football program. Jamal Williams gets to the outside. And BYU, they are moving the ball without Hill. Inside the 25, down to the 24.
They're playing with great energy right now. They're being efficient and effective. Tip ball is all that separated them from some points, certainly on the last drive.
Christian Stewart, who had never completed a pass before tonight, has looked pretty solid. Straight ahead run, and Utah State read that one well. Williams just nowhere to go.
And it's difficult. I'm going to say it one more time. If you're going to run the ball against Utah State, that's the best thing that they do is defend the run. So you have to mix it up and keep them off balance.
We'll see if Stewart is able to go as quick tempo as Hill. Taysom Hill, the master at that very fast tempo BYU offense. Stewart from the shotgun hits Williams out of the backfield, and Nick Vigil hits him.
Double duty, and boy, is he a player on both sides of the ball. But you're looking now at 3rd and 9, and obvious passes. You want to stay out of obvious pass. You want to throw on first down when it's an either or down.
A star kind of performance on both sides of the ball from the sophomore Nick Vigil. 3rd and 9. Stewart, the short drop with time, now gets rid of it, and it is tipped up and incomplete, intended for Howe. Good coverage there from Utah State, and Devin Centers, their safety.
Is this field goal range, or are they going to go for it?
It looks to me like the field goal unit is coming out.
You need points at this point in time. I think you need to stem the tide a little bit, get points on the board. Not to say they wouldn't fake this, because I think when you're at home and you're behind to the underdog, you'll try a lot of things.
Well, you see 5 of 6, but this would be the longest of the year for Sampson. 41-yard attempt. The hold, the kick is on its way, and it is good. Right down the middle for Trevor Sampson. So that's what you're talking about. Get some points on the board. Bronco Mendenhall happy about it. Still trailing, though, 28-17.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind, and AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Well, there's a tradition here in Provo. Late night, final walkthrough for the BYU players. The students show up, the players grab some pizzas, and make some fans of those students. We handed out the pies for the kids who greet their players coming in for the walkthrough. 28-17. This is certainly not what BYU envisioned last night thinking about this game, but now without their star quarterback Taysom Hill, a left leg fracture. There is his backup, and really his first real game action of his career. Christian Stewart has done some nice things. A field goal makes it a 28-17 Aggies lead.
Throws the ball well and put points on the board. There's not a lot more you can ask right now.
Kickoff and returnable this time. Kennedy Williams to the 20, and Williams hit at about the 23 and driven backwards. Ball came out. I don't think they ruled that a fumble, did they?
I think they ruled his forward progress had stopped.
I thought so. The officials not given real clear signals there, but that was a kick return down at about the 23.
Forward progress. First down.
So Utah State gets the ball back. Every week on Friday night, we use the hashtag Show Me Something. And what we're looking for, something of Saturday's college football action. Mike, what's your Show Me Something this week?
My Show Me Something is the Florida State offensive line. They're not running the ball very well. They're 100th in the nation running. They got to get going.
A unit, a player, a team that we need to see something from in the upcoming weekend of college football. Handoff to Hill on the first play, and he got to the edge and nearly got to the first down and hurtled over the bench. This is what you're talking about, Mike.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, they were one of the best teams running the ball in the nation, and by virtue of that, they were one of the best teams defending the run. This year, they're not good at either, and I really think they will jump out this week against Wake Forest, but I'm challenging that offensive line. Show me something.
You want to be the #1 team in the country, you got to play better up front than they have.
It helps you be a tougher football team overall.
And you can use the hashtag and share Show Me Something with us. And if we get some good responses, we will show those on the air as we go along. Straight ahead running for Joe Hill, first down.
And that's showing me something too. They're running right at the teeth of the BYU defense and getting ahead, and they've got to get first downs. What they want to do now, they've got a lead. They want to pad that lead, but they would like to take time off the clock. As we talked about, you know, they're not usually a huddle team. They're sort of a muddle huddle, but they always are letting that clock run. They don't always snap it in a very much of a hurry.
Well, there's no question that Daryl Garrettson has shown us something here tonight. The sophomore quarterback, number 10, in place of the Aggie star, Chucky Keaton. Play clock starting to wind down, so now they have to hustle. Down to 2. They get the snap off and a play fake. Garrettson looking deep right side. He's got a man again, and another perfect delivery to Hunter Sharp, who drags the defensive back inside the 10. Daryl Garrettson sort of limping his way down the field. 56 yards for Hunter Sharp.
Great double move set up by the play action fake in the backfield. Watch the corner bite on the out move. Goes right by him, loses his shoe. That's one of his problems. But great catch, great throw. And again, all because right there, kicked or kneed or something there. Cramp maybe. Hadn't played this much lately.
Yeah, maybe a cramp for Garrettson. How pretty have his deep throws been in this game?
He's had time to step into those throws, which makes a huge difference.
Hill with the carry inside the 10 on 1st and goal. Not much there. Well, look, the performance of BYU and the injury to Taysom Hill, those are surprising things. The Aggies offense has been the big surprise in this game.
You know, it hasn't been as big a surprise, though, because the BYU coaches were concerned about their pass defense coming out of that last game, even through the bye week going into this game.
But the Aggies, by the numbers, have been one of the worst offensive teams in the country. They're playing on the road against BYU and lighting it up. That pass incomplete, and a flag. That's a hit on the quarterback. Well, that's going to be a hit against BYU.
And Garrettson very intelligently throwing the ball away. He didn't really see anybody. He's just going to toss it down the field.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. The penalty's half the distance to the goal. First down.
You know, the rusher doesn't know that he's throwing the ball away. He maybe think I'm disrupting what could be a potential touchdown pass. And we've talked about the fact it doesn't matter if the ball is catchable or anything like that. Coach Mendenhall encourages physical, aggressive play. They're one of the most penalized teams in the nation. They've got to be very careful from now on.
Instead of 3rd and goal, it's 1st and goal inside the 5. Hill trying to cut it left side and get to that corner, and he doesn't get there. He did get close, though. Gang tackle, and now Dallin Levitt, the big hitting sophomore safety, he's hurting. He's one of their stars on the defensive side of the ball. He is in a lot of pain.
I think. And Hill has some great acceleration. He's a great stop-start guy. He changed direction there, got all the way outside, almost scored.
Left leg, and look at Levitt toss that helmet away. That's a lot of pain. See if we can spot something. It was there. It was basically after the play was over, rolling over, and with his foot sort of pinned underneath him.
Yeah, they fly around, and they talk about he's one of the guys that really is emblematic of what they do on defense. Fly to the ball and great physicality.
One of their leaders, their big hitter in the secondary, and he can hardly put any weight on that left leg. So 2nd and goal, big Nick Vigil in the game, carries it into the end zone, touchdown. Playing running back for the first time in his college career, and he's got a touchdown tonight. It's 34-17.
We'll have to ask him at some point whether scoring a touchdown is more fun than getting a sack. I'm going to guess yes.
The defensive guys, they don't often get to do that. That's his first career touchdown, and what a job by Utah State. I mean, we had no inkling this was coming. He had never carried the ball in his career before tonight, and he's been a big part of their offense. Extra point up and good. 35-17. The big pass play, and then on the ground into the end zone for Nick Vigil. And Big Brother approves of that one. Yeah, Zach, pretty pleased.
He's going over there. Yeah, that's a neat deal. Brothers playing.
Yeah, little brother be happy with that hug. Well, we're talking about all the great college football action tomorrow. How about in the Big Ten? Maybe the game of the year in that conference. Nebraska on the road to take on the Spartans of Michigan State Saturday, 8 Eastern on ABC. Amir Abdullah trying to get it going against that stout Spartans defense. Friday focus. How about earlier today, day before that game? Game day in Oxford, Mississippi for the first time ever. A great scene. It'll be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
2 teams undefeated in the state of Mississippi. First time since 1958. Something's got to give.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze happy with where his program is. Chance for a huge win against Alabama. You could say the exact same thing for Mississippi State in their matchup with a very good Texas A&M team. Late night Friday here in Provo, and a shocking night for BYU, undefeated, 18th ranked in the country, and Utah State is just taking it to them. Short kickoff across the 20 out to the 26-yard line. Paul Lasike with the return. Well, they've already lost Taysom Hill. Now Levitt, who really looks hurt. headed back to the locker room himself.
You know, I think BYU was playing with great energy, but the big play, giving up the big play, sucks a lot of that energy right out of you.
I think the cramps are still an issue for the quarterback, Daryl Garrettson. Meanwhile, Christian Stewart, the backup, in place of Hill. And he'll throw right sideline and incomplete, out of bounds. Jordan Leslie was there and he caught it, but out of bounds.
Nice job by the defense. Actually, they were in a good position to play that had it been inbounds. A little bit great throw in terms of the depth down the field, just a little bit too wide.
2nd and 10. Play fake. Quick hitter over the middle, and the ball pops out. Now, I don't know if they'll rule that a catch. They're going to say no. And I didn't think so. Taron Houck got popped, and he's slow to get up.
It's a great job defensively of putting the helmet right on the football, tackling with the shoulder. That's a classic textbook tackle by the defense.
Nice job, Frankie Sotera in the secondary to break that play up. 3rd and 10, BYU. 1:29 to go in the 3rd quarter. Stewart rolling left, got pressured, hit as he throws, and throws it right into coverage. It's intercepted. And the return for Centers to the 30 and pushed out of bounds inside the 30. Everything is going right for Utah State.
And I'm not sure BYU will be able to recover from this type of mistake.
It's been that kind of night for the players, for the fans, for everybody here in Provo. Just disbelief.
Watch the quarterback here as he sets up the throw. He's going to get hit just enough to push that ball off target. He knew it as soon as he said, let me finish this. Because the ball's thrown way inside. The receiver was breaking to the outside. DB had his eyes back to the quarterback, which put him in great position.
Devin Centers with the interception and the return. More good field position for the Aggies. And I don't know if you could say with a full quarter to go, putting the game away, but a chance to come close at least. Now JoJo Natson on that little fly sweep and nowhere to go other than backwards. Nice play by Fred Warner. Turnovers have been a big factor for the defense of Utah State. Look how many turnovers they have forced after the opener at Tennessee.
They've done a tremendous job, except for that Tennessee game, of taking the ball away, and it's certainly been one of the big advantages tonight.
I mean, 2-2. They have any help from their offense last week, and they're a 3-1 team coming into this game. Tonight, the offense has shown up big time. From the pistol, Hill on 2nd and long. And again, just not a lot of room there. He got popped out of bounds by Sky Pove.
The problem for BYU right now is even with stops, even with tackles, they need turnovers. They need to create some field position, either by special teams or by defense, to help the offense. They're down too many scores to just let Utah State run the ball.
3rd and 14 coming up. So this is at least a chance to either force a long field goal try for a team that doesn't kick field goals very well. Utah State, they're acting like the quarter can end, but I
think they're 1 second behind on the play clock.
So they're going to use a timeout, it looks like. So a timeout for the Aggies to try to prevent that penalty, give themselves at least some kind of decent chance to get some points on the board. And Matt Wells and his group can talk it over. Dave Fleming, Mike Bellotti here in Provo. Really, Mike, the story coming in, BYU, can they run the table? Can they go undefeated? Can they get in the playoff picture? Can Taysom Hill be a Heisman candidate? Throw all those stories out with how this game has gone.
Absolutely no question. Taysom Hill going down, I think it certainly hurt them. But even before that, Utah State was moving the ball and playing great defense. With the exception of the first series, BYU did not been able to move the ball, not been able to run the ball like they thought. And credit Utah State, bringing Vigil in on offense seems to have been a genius stroke tonight.
Well, and I still think the rivalry aspect of this game, how much this means on the Utah State side, has been a factor in the way this game has been. I mean, look at the offensive numbers. They have already just blown past their season average. On 3rd down and long, Garrettson pressured and does get rid of it, throws it away. That is the final play of the third quarter. Nick Vigil's been a stud tonight. He and Utah State up big.
Everybody goes where everybody knows it. Anything goes on a Friday night. Sing it to me.
Well, what if we told you their jerseys said Boston College, but they were playing for someone else? In the late 70s, a small group of BC ballers got mixed up with the real good fellas and started shaving points. What if we told you that once the fix is in, it can't be fixed? ESPN Films 30 for 30 presents Playing for the Mob, brought to you by Infinity, Tuesday 9 p.m. on ESPN and Watch ESPN. Just a fascinating story. Dave Fleming, Mike Bellotti, Allison Williams here in Provo, where Utah State sets up for a long field goal try of 45 yards to begin the fourth quarter. And this is Jake Thompson, their secondary place kicker, who handles the longer attempts. We're going to officially say 44 yards.
Ball travels a little bit better here, so the length doesn't scare me. The protection initially scares me.
Kick up and push to the right. It is no good. Now BYU dodges a bullet there, and Utah State continues to really struggle in the kick game. Maybe Bronco Mendenhall, and the Cougars still have some kind of shot. It's going to take a heck of a comeback, a Jim McMahon style comeback, if they're going to do it here tonight, down 35-17.
They're going to have to score on almost every possession in this quarter. The reality is they'll get maybe 4 possessions depending on what Utah State does. They got to play well on both sides of the ball.
What was it, the Holiday Bowl? They were down 3 touchdowns maybe with 3 minutes to go, something like that. And one of his most famous performances at BYU, Stewart hit as he launches on. That'll be a penalty flag and then some. 3 different flags thrown, intended for Matthews. And there's also a BYU player back behind the play, injured and down. Another injury for the Cougars. Looks like Braden Kearsley.
And he's filling in at the right guard position.
Pass interference, number 6 of the defense. Penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
He also backs up at right tackle.
That was a pretty easy call.
Yeah, we're going to see that a lot more. They're going to use the height advantage. They're going to be throwing the ball deep, trying to either get the interference or a completed pass, get over the top.
Well, the BYU offense will take a break while their offensive lineman is hurt. We'll step aside and be back right after this. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. 14:46 to go in the fourth quarter here in Provo. 35-17. Utah State on the road with the big lead. BYU does have the ball. Christian Stewart, their backup in. Taysom Hill, their starter, out. Stewart keeps it himself on first down and gets a couple of yards.
You know, I'm not sure I'd be running quarterback power at this point in the game. I think he's a good thrower. I don't know about his running skills, but I don't want to put him in harm's way in terms of injury.
I saw a quick shot of the right guard, Braden Kearsley. So another injury that looks significant for BYU. Stewart keeping it again, and he dives short of a first down by a yard to set up 3rd down and 1.
That dive may have been a little premature. I think he'd rather have gotten the first down.
A 3rd and a yard. They hand it off, and it is a BYU first down. Now did the ball come out? No, he held on to it. Paul Lasike with the carry for 4 yards and a first down BYU.
They like Lasike. He's a big power back, over 230 pounds. They can use him as a changeup to pound inside.
They give it to him once again, and Utah State's defense was right there. If you missed it late in the first half, Taysom Hill, BYU ball, and driving down by a touchdown. Here's the play, left leg, ankle, and you can see the pressure on that lower leg. They have not described the fracture, but they did take x-rays. It is a leg fracture for Taysom Hill. Now going deep, Leslie dives, and he can't catch it. Jordan Leslie, good effort. Stewart's pass just a little bit too strong.
Nice touch. He's got a very, very good arm, and Leslie almost got to that. He showed the ability that some receivers have to make up time while the ball's in the air. Ball was overthrown quite a bit early, but he really turned on the Jets.
So it's 3rd and 9, and you would figure with the score, BYU is in 4-down territory. Utah State brings some pressure. It was picked up nicely. That pass incomplete, but there's another flag. That's going to be another penalty against the Aggies secondary, this time the true freshman, Jalen Davis.
It looked to me as if he hooked him with the back or right arm. Did a nice job. He got a piece of the ball, but as we see this, we maybe watch it coming right at us here.
Pass interference.
You see that right arm.
Defense, number 13. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
That's almost being too quick for your own good. Jalen Davis, they say he is maybe the best cover guy and one of the fastest guys they have on the entire team.
So 1st down, BYU. And now whistles and a timeout, Aggies. Utah State did not like how they were lined up on defense, so we'll take a timeout ourselves. 35-17 the score. Dave Fleming, Mike Bellotti, Allison Williams in Provo, Utah, where BYU at home trying to stay undefeated, but 13-15 to go, and they are down big, 35-17. They do have the ball, 1st and 10 at the Aggies' 32-yard line. So on the move with their backup quarterback, Christian Stewart, in the game. Their starter and star Hill hurt and out, and that pass incomplete. That is 6 in a row incomplete from the quarterback, Christian Stewart.
And if you average about 4 possessions a quarter, the reality is they're going to have to score on 3 of these 4 possessions. So in addition to playing good, they have to be very efficient in handling the ball.
And those 2 interceptions, I'm not sure you put them all on Stewart, but the number's not pretty so far in his first real game action. Now another flag thrown.
Dave, you mentioned, though, he had a great spring.
He did.
Really threw the ball and impressed the coaches and the team. I think they felt good, but they certainly, assumed that Taysom Hill would be the guy.
Yeah.
There is no foul for illegal formation. 2nd down.
So no penalty. It'll be 2nd down. Let's go again to Allison Williams.
Well, BYU injury issues continuing to mount. Right guard Braden Kearsley out with a left ankle injury. Not sure if he will return. He was already replacing Brock Stringham, who's out with a shoulder injury.
So they're down to their 3rd stringer at right guard. Tooney Canuch is in there now. That pass complete to Adam Hine, so he does complete a pass. There's number 78. The 3rd down coming up, just a short gain. There is the sophomore, Braden Kearsley.
It'll be interesting to see if this is 4-down territory or they kick a field goal. They're 18 points down. You have to do the math. They're going to go for 2 at some point if they take a field goal. Sort of a moot point now.
He airmailed the throw. He was hit again as he got rid of it, and that one's intercepted, this time by Frankie Cetera. There is a flag down on the play near the line of scrimmage, so we'll see. But as it stands, another interception for Utah State. Well, the Aggies defense is coming off the field like they think this one's against BYU.
Personal foul, number 91 of the intercepting team, for hitting a player that is out of the play. The penalties half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
So the interception stands. The penalty after the play basically was over or not involved in the play. So that was what happened after the throw. Then Stewart gets up and there's the penalty.
And most defenses tell you that if the ball's intercepted, go block the quarterback, regardless of where he is on the field. And they're trying to do a better job now of protecting that person, even if he starts to run towards the ball.
And that didn't look too dirty to me.
That was sort of a little guy got in the way of a big guy running.
But for BYU, their chances of coming from behind are slipping away. The Aggies offense back on the field. Handoff, Hill. Left side after the bounce and cuts it back middle, upended at the 18-yard line. Well, tomorrow, and the games start early, and some really good matchups, Mike, right away.
No question. Ohio State better watch out. Maryland is a talented team with some good receivers. They'll be tested. We talked about that A&M Mississippi State game. That I love that one. I think that's really a pick-em type game. And then Purdue versus Illinois, somebody's got to win that game.
And we'll leave it at that. 2nd and 6 for the Aggies after the Cetera interception. Somebody will win and somebody will lose. Between the Illini and the Boilermakers, Nick Vigil. And you wonder, Mike, you watch this game, and the linebacker who never carried the ball in college, was a real good high school running back. He's a star on the defensive side of the ball. Has this worked well enough? I mean, he's played really well. You figure this is going to be a part of their offense going forward?
Well, I have to say yes, because he has great instincts as a running back. The one thing I've been impressed with is the Aggie running backs have started going into the line of scrimmage and had the BYU defense commit. They've had the speed and the vision to bounce it outside and get some big yards going outside the center of the defense.
3rd and 3. Utah State's been pretty good on 3rd down. The fake fly sweep, the handoff. BYU right there. A tackle for a loss of a yard. Nick Vigil on offense tonight, Mike.
Yeah, let's just watch him. This is the one he sort of breaks tackles and drives him. I'll tell you what, he moves the pile. And then here's a great job, too, of vision and speed and athleticism for a big guy just getting outside. He's got more speed than you think, and then just pushing the pile, seeing the hole, and getting in the end zone. His first college touchdown.
Well, and you can see the instincts of a guy who did play at the high school level, was a star running back in the state of Utah. He was switching the ball from his right to his left as he cut it back, and he looked pretty natural.
Yeah, you don't forget how to carry the ball. It's not very heavy.
A little end-over-end punt, and Blackman with the return, cut back. Can he get to that corner? No. He'll go out of bounds with a shove at the end of the play. But no penalty flag thrown, so 10-12 to go for a miracle comeback. Helmet back on for Nick Vigil, back on the defensive side when we return.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's, great sandwich delivery, and in part by Wells Fargo. When people talk, great things happen.
Now look inside the wall, they call it. BYU Club in the Student Activities Center. Now that was Thursday night. Well, who knows, maybe it's going off on a Friday night after the football game is over here in Provo. 35-17. Utah State's fans, not big in number, but a couple hours down the interstate here in Provo from Logan. And watching their Aggies play a heck of a game. 35-17, they lead.
If the score prevails, it'll be a happy drive home.
Those 2 hours will fly by. The BYU, they got to go quickly. They got to get points very quickly. Stewart, the throw, and it was going to be out of bounds, I think, and it was dropped anyway.
Timing was just off a little bit. Leslie was trying to worry about the sideline, tip his toe down, and didn't quite catch the ball. Catch the ball first, worry about your feet later.
And that's sort of back to the point you were making. Christian Stewart, the backup in, a little pump fake going deep, and he makes a nice throw there. Matthews comes down with the catch. Inbounds right at the 30-yard line.
Every other throw should be down the field, because the reality is they have to score. Great job, great catch. That's catch the ball first, get the foot down inbound. Tremendous effort, nice execution.
That was really well done by Matthews. 28 yards. Down to the 30. BYU to the line quickly. Stewart going to the end zone. Leslie incomplete.
They've got to tell him, the coaches have to say, give them a chance to catch the ball. We have a size advantage over their corners. Put the ball up in the air with a little bit more time so our guys can get under. Let it be a jump ball.
And the reality is, I mean, we were talking about how well he played in the spring. He impressed a lot of people. He had never completed a pass in a game at BYU before tonight. So a guy with very little actual game experience. Jamal Williams shoots up the middle inside the 15 down to the 10. So they put the ball on the ground and it works. Williams with a 20-yard carry.
Score quickly, score early, score often. That's the advice for BYU.
Williams with the run. Now Stewart looking end zone. The lob. Matthews incomplete. There's plenty of contact there. Davis with the coverage. No flag.
The ball is still thrown too far.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. Make it a jump ball. Literally the alley-oop. You can see this right here. And that we're going to win that, but he's got to be able to stay in bounds.
And Matthews is 6'6". Davis is 5'10", and a true freshman. Stewart was looking that way. Now he goes back this side and throws it a little bit high again. Incomplete, intended for Houck. One thing, the incomplete passes do stop the clock, so you got 2 more chances to try to get it in the end zone.
Don't be surprised if they don't run a running play inside. Just as they continue to throw the ball, if they can spread the Utah State defense out a little bit, they may try to run and pop one up inside.
Looking right, throwing right, and caught short by Houck, well short of the goal line. So to be 4th down, Centers, who had an interception earlier with a nice tackle. And BYU they're running the field goal team out here. They don't have to go for it.
No, they need points. When you're down 18, if you think 14-4, a field goal puts them in a position where they're going to have to go for 2 at some point.
Yeah, so and that's Bronco Mendenhall's idea. The fans not happy at all.
But it does keep them in the game, and we talked about having to score on 3 out of the 4 possessions. They've already squandered 1. Every possession they have to score some type of points.
Now one thing is you have to actually make the field goal, and they do. Trevor Sampson from 24 yards out, so maybe still some hope for Bronco Mendenhall's Cougars. They trail 35-20. Here in Provo, we've been using that hashtag show me something. Got a lot of great responses. I like this one from Brennan Hunt. Texas A&M receivers need to catch the balls that hit their hands. That was indeed a big problem in the Arkansas game. Huge challenge as they go on the road in Starkville.
I agree, although Mississippi State is not very good in the secondary. That's their Achilles heel, their weakness. So you're right, the A&M receivers better catch those balls.
And that's sort of the fascinating part of that game, which kind of gets everything started tomorrow at noon on ESPN. I mean, that's a huge matchup in the SEC West. 2 teams who do have hopes of making it into the college football playoff. And it's the passing offense for A&M against the passing defense for Mississippi State. And can the Mississippi State sort of hold up? Kind of a pooch kick and in no man's land. And the Aggies did not come up with it cleanly. The ball's still on the ground, and BYU has it.
We talked about needing to play defense, steal a possession in the kicking game, and then score often. This is hopefully the first step for BYU in the comeback.
Well, that was a mistake by Kennedy Williams. I think he's the guy who came up. He tried to scoop it and go. Just fall on the ball, and it is BYU ball. I mean, you just cannot do that up 35-20 with 8 minutes to go. I mean, he had to just get on it.
He actually was trying to do the right thing. He was just going too fast, and that's the problem. We talked about needing something to do, steal a possession in the kicking game, and except for they were offsides.
Wow. So there was a flag, and BYU was offsides, and that negates it. My goodness. I mean, they didn't even announce that until very late, and BYU fans, of all the things that have happened in this game that have gone against him, there's another. Yeah. Let's see.
Take a look right there. Yeah, he gets quite a bit over that line before the ball's even kicked,
way
unfortunately.
offsides. So that ends up being a pretty easy call.
And here's the thing, you know, Utah State had issues on their first 2 possessions. Fumbled the ball away down inside the red zone, had a big 15-yard penalty. But since then, the breaks have gone against BYU. Seems like the remainder of the game.
And Utah State has played almost mistake-free in that time. And now Williams and company get a second opportunity. We'll see if BYU, after the penalty, if they try that again or just kick it deep this time.
That's a good question. I really am not sure what they might do. I try it again simply because it worked the first time. Make it prove they can handle it.
So that time handled much better by the Aggies and the up man. Well, with the night of Major League Baseball playoffs now over, if you're just tuning over to our football game, Taysom Hill one of the great stars in the sport with a left leg injury, and they took x-rays in the halftime locker room. That was right before the half, and a left leg fracture. They have not given us any more details than that. For a broken leg for Taysom Hill. He has missed this second half, and it's not been just that. BYU, even putting that aside, has been outplayed by the Aggies. There was another penalty, so tack on some yardage there, and Utah State has the ball.
Utah State will attempt to run as much clock as they can. They probably won't snap the ball inside of 10 seconds or so. They are going to throw it, though.
Forget about that.
Yeah,
An incomplete pass.
I'm a little bit surprised, actually, although they've gotten away from what they did. They threw the ball very well for the most part of this game. Darryl Garretson, certainly the star of the game. Tremendous completion percentage, and this is huge. This win could be huge.
Well, look at that. The last time that Utah State came down here to Provo and got a win against BYU, 1978.
How old were you?
I was 2 years old in 1978.
I was a little older than you.
Where were you in 1978?
I was actually coaching at Cal State Hayward, soon to be coaching at Weber State in 1979.
Right here up the highway. Well, another pass. I don't get this.
I don't either. And it goes against most coaching philosophy, but so does bringing your linebacker over and having him play tailback. You know, BYU's making plays. Utah State is not. The clock has not moved. This is something certainly in BYU's favor right now.
To me, that's not real smart football. 2 straight incompletions. Play clock is down to 10 on 3rd and 10, and now they hand it off to Hill.
Don't go out of bounds.
Who goes out of bounds. Which only saves a certain amount of time, but you just can't do that. That's simple stuff. You're up 35-20 with 8:22 to go. 2 incompletions, and then you go out of bounds on the 3rd down run.
No, that was not. I agree with you. I'm not sure that was coaching 101 right there. When you're ahead by this point in time, you've got the ball, run the clock, make them use timeouts or whatever the case may be. He only took 30 to 40 seconds off the clock total.
I mean, that sequence might have cost him 2 minutes of clock time or so. And it really was only 30 seconds that wound off the clock. The punt, the short return by Devon Blackman. And so BYU, that's a break for them. They get the ball back with 8 minutes to go here at home, needing a miracle. Well, a couple of those games we've been talking about all night in the SEC West. First on ESPN at noon Eastern right away. The 6th-ranked team in the country. Huge challenge on the road in Starkville, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Then under the lights at Auburn, LSU. And Auburn number 15 against number 5.
LSU beat Auburn last year, but I'm not sure they can do it again this year.
Which I think lots of folks have forgotten about after the way Auburn ripped off after that loss. Penalty flag.
False start. 56 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Well, Auburn's rush offense against LSU has been a lot different than against everybody else the last 2 years.
Yeah, still pretty good, but not quite the same numbers. LSU did a great job of shutting them down.
BYU down 15. Stewart, we'll see if he looks deep here on the move. Stewart gets rid of it, and it's caught, but out of bounds. Well, they talked about it, and I think they're going to get together and look.
I think the one might overrule the other.
Incomplete.
No. Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
Well, Leslie did his best. Let's watch. Incredible effort.
That's a great catch. Oh, you know what? That's really close. I'm not sure we can totally see. Let's see from another angle if we can tell where his feet came down. All he has to do is have a toe touch inbounds. So they didn't see enough to even think it needed a replay.
Stewart pressured, this time incomplete. Leslie had that one.
Gosh, I'll tell you what, I said this, I told every other ball should be a down the field throw. Let them go. They have to make big plays. They haven't been able to do it with the running game. Unfortunately, this ball is dropped. Nice move to get inside, but just can't corral the ball.
And maybe the presence of the safety centers coming over influence that, but you got to catch that one. Stewart throws short behind the receiver, incomplete. 4th and 15 intended for Mitchell Juergens.
I don't think this is 4-down territory, despite the score in the game. I think they're going to trot the punt team on.
So BYU, after Utah State did not use much clock at all, got the ball back, but 3 and out. Ayano, the punter, back out there.
Stewart started off by completing, I think, his first 2 passes, and his percentage since then has been not very good.
Pressured on the punt, a low line drive kick and a fair catch by JoJo Natson. And this time I am thinking that Utah State is going to be a little bit more conservative.
I'm going to guess that's the case, because certainly the results last time are not what they wanted. You know, they want to possess the ball. They want to run time off the clock. They actually weren't snapping the ball. They're snapping the ball with 12 and 13 and 15 seconds left, which I'm really surprised at.
And I'm not saying you can't consider throwing it in certain circumstances, but when you're up on the road like this and the clock is your ally, 2 incompletions and then a run that went out of bounds on the last sequence.
Running back should have gone down inbounds.
1st and 10. They will give it to Hill, running left side toward that edge, and he does stay in bounds and gets the first down. Nice run for Hill.
BYU's defense, I don't know if they're tired, but they need to step up right now. They've got to get a stop, try to get the ball back. And I think especially Utah State seems to have figured out they need to run the ball to get time off the clock.
Looks to me like Nick Vigil is lobbying to get back in the game on offense. He has just been a stud. His first ever college experience at running back. He's got his first ever touchdown. He also leads Utah State with 16 tackles on defense.
That's a pretty good day's work. What do you think?
A two-way star. Hill, another carry into BYU territory. And a gain of 4, almost 5 yards on first down with that clock moving, but stopped now with a BYU timeout. And number 41 will come back on the field.
This is the first timeout of the second half called by BYU. 30-second timeout.
And that is one thing for BYU. They did save their timeout, so they have all 3.
Yeah, and you can stop the ball when you're on offense. You can't stop the ball when you're on defense unless you knock the pass down or you call a timeout.
Well, remember what Matt Wells told us, Mike, yesterday when we were asking about, hey, this is an in-state rivalry, 2 programs that are so close to one another, so many kids who crossed over in high school, played against each other at that level. Utah State kids who wanted to come to BYU and maybe didn't get a chance to come play here in Provo. But Coach Wells told us, hey, Gary Anderson used to say, it ain't a rivalry if you can't beat them every once in a while.
You have to have a win in that conflict, and then you can call it a rivalry. But you're right, both of these teams have always over 40 players on each squad from the state of Utah. There's a great history there. This is a rivalry. This appears to be one now.
Matt Wells, who quarterbacked at Utah State as a player, last year coach of the year in the Mountain West, second year as a head coach. He's only won 1 game in his playing coaching career with Utah State against BYU. There's a special trophy that's at stake. Another BYU player down. That looks like Alani Fua, who is an NFL prospect linebacker. So another standout. They've lost their starting quarterback, most notably Taysom Hill, but also a safety, Dallin Levitt, who's a big-time player, a starting offensive lineman. Braden Kearsley has gone off on a cart. And now Fua with another leg injury, the BYU linebacker. The senior from San Fernando, California, on the right.
Coming in from the right side of the screen there, off the edge. Really hard to tell. Once again, his ankle looks like it gets rolled up by one of his own players. That's, you know, friendly fire sometimes on defense. There's a lot of guys flying to the football, and sometimes that is your own player who's just gets caught up in the traffic.
Well, all 4 of the major injuries for BYU in this game have been similar to that. Maybe not exactly like that, but similar. I'm talking about the trophy that these 2 teams share. It's a wagon wheel. That's it, Mike.
It's a real wagon wheel. It looks like they've got the trophies. Each one is etched there or put in metal. Tells the year probably. And as the winner.
A lot of those spokes pointing to BYU victories over the years.
Probably been reciting here for a while, I take it.
It's been since 1978 that Utah State came to Provo and got a win. The more terrible. This is not just a potential loss that derails their hopes for an undefeated season. I mean, they have lost some of their very best players. They've lost their quarterback, and we're speculating, but when you break your leg, likely for the rest of the year, Taysom Hill.
And Taysom Hill was a difference maker for them. I mean, he was a nationally recognized player, a force to be reckoned with when you played this team. And although Bronco Mendenhall and his coaching staff are great, they really do a great job, and they will get this team ready, but it's going to be tough without Taysom now. That's a huge chink out of their armor.
There's Dallin Levitt, the safety, with his own left leg injury. Garrettson hands off. Nick Vigil keeps his balance and around the left side inside the 30. And then guess what? The guy who's almost never played running back at Utah State stays in bounds.
That was a veteran move and the mark of a very savvy football player to get that as much yard as he could. He knew he was going to be forced out of bounds and then get down.
Nick Vigil just tremendous. I mean, this is Miles Jack kind of stuff.
Yeah,
doing it on both sides of the ball. Tons of snaps. I mean, how many snaps has he played?
And 16 tackles, you said?
16 tackles on defense.
I wonder if they give him Monday off from practice or something. I don't know.
I'm going to give him Monday off. They hand it off to Vigil again. This time there just was nowhere to go. No, it's not just Taysom Hill. The injuries for BYU. Hill, the star quarterback, the left leg. And ultimately, after the x-rays, the broken leg, there's number 2, the safety, Dallin Levitt. He hurt his left leg. The starting offensive lineman, who's really the second stringer, but starting tonight, and you see that left ankle rolled up by his own quarterback. And the similarities with all these injuries just sort of astounding. Alani Fua, excellent linebacker, and he had his left leg and ankle pinned underneath.
You know, that's, as a coach, that's a horror movie right there. Let's not show that one again. I know we have to sometimes, but I'll tell you what, as a coach and as a parent and as a fan, it just hurts you to watch those young men get injured and go down. It's a part of football, but it's a part that's hard to coach against or around.
Well, if you named, okay, BYU, who are your 10 best players? At least 3 of those 4 are on that list, and the clear star of this team, Taysom Hill, at the top of that list. Under center, Vigil. Knocked backwards.
One of the things, too, at this point in time in a game, you're going to call time, but you want to give the ball to somebody who does not fumble it. The guy you trust the most. I'm not sure, really. I mean, Zach Vigil's a great athlete, but he hasn't carried the ball in a couple years in college. But here he is carrying the ball at the end where you really need it. That's tremendous trust from the coaching staff.
Well, it shows you what they think about this guy. So Utah State in a wide open Mountain West Conference, and maybe a chance for the Aggies after some fits and starts. For BYU, this is going to be a bitter disappointment. And now the challenge, the bye week was last week, right? So you don't have an extra week, some extra time to get your backup quarterback totally up to speed.
And even if you take the injuries out of it tonight, I think you'd have to say that Utah State utilized the bye week much better than BYU did to prepare for this game and come up with some wrinkles that stymied the BYU offense and the BYU defense in what they want to do.
In fact, BYU has a day less than normal on Thursday night. They're at Central Florida, which will be a challenge against that excellent defense. So they're going to have to regroup in a hurry. 3rd and 11, and Joe Hill upended. The clock continues to roll. It's 4th down. Here's how it shakes out for Utah State. Air Force coming off a huge win, Mike, against Boise State.
Air Force is a good team this year, and they're always tough to prepare for simply because of what they do offensively.
But I mean, you run down that schedule: Air Force, UNLV, Hawaii, Colorado State is improved, and that game is on the road. Wyoming, a lot of chances for wins for the Aggies.
Wyoming actually did a nice job early on in their game against Oregon, and Boise State is sort of a Jekyll and Hyde team. Sometimes they look really good, and I'm not sure about them, but we'll see as this season goes along.
There is Chucky Keaton. We don't know if we're going to see Chucky, the senior star quarterback for the Aggies, who's been wearing the headset all game, and they give him credit. He has cheered on his teammates. And that guy, number 10, the backup, Darrell Garrettson. They take a delay of game penalty, Utah State does.
Well, if they're going to punt it, they're probably going to get back. They don't mind taking that penalty simply because, in fact, they may take another one or two simply to give the punter a chance to put the ball down inside the 10. Probably angle it away from the return man or hang it up high, kicking it oblong like they do.
Mitchell Juergens back to receive. This game is not over. 4:33 to go. It's not over, but no timeouts now for BYU. It is going to take a miracle. Juergens came up and signaled for the fair catch.
Stranger things have happened. Actually, I can remember a team called UC Davis that was down 15 points to Cal State Hayward in 1971. Scored 16 points in 20 seconds to win the game. But you guys don't want to hear about that game.
The miracle game.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a famous game.
Did I mention that before?
Who caught the touchdown? Who caught the touchdown at the end of that game?
I know some guy that I know.
Well, Mike Bellotti, a tight end for the Aggies. Stewart pressured and sacked. Well, I don't think there's going to be a miracle here tonight.
No, and I think Utah State knows that they are going to try to throw the ball, and they're not as good a matchup down the field. They don't want to allow him to get the pass off, so they're going to come with pressure, come with that zone blitz of 4 guys off the edge, one side or the other, and create some havoc for the quarterback.
Stewart after the sack, left side, and caught. Good throw to Matthews. Out of bounds to stop the clock and a first down.
That was almost like a back shoulder throw. Really pretty nice execution. We talked about how big those guys are in terms of their girth as wide receivers, 6'6", and just a tough matchup down the field.
26 yards. Matthews up to 117 yards. Stewart pressured again, gets away just for a moment. Now scrambling, and he'll run out of bounds. Good play by Christian Stewart.
Very nice play, but you've got to anticipate the blitz. As I said, I don't think Utah State wants to sit back anymore and allow him to have time to throw the alley-oop to his receiver. So they're going to come with pressure, try to get him before they can allow those routes to develop down the field.
Clock rolls again after they spot the ball. So BYU, they got to hurry. Stewart rolling right. And again, looking downfield, now looking back middle. He had a man, I thought, buying some extra time. And this play taking a long, long while. He gets the first down, scrambled for about 4 yards. So they stopped the clock.
That play took too much time. That was in this spot of the game. That was a costly gain of a first down.
Tomorrow morning, Ohio State, Maryland at noon. Texas A&M, Mississippi State. The start of clearly the highlight day to this point, and who knows how it shakes out. Could be the highlight day all year.
Great day of college football, at least at this point. Probably the most ranked teams, and we're going to see some undefeated teams facing each other. The great SEC West matchups, and just all across the nation. I mean, some really defining games for the season.
That committee, the playoff selection committee, with not that many data points to this point after tomorrow and what happened last night, what's happening here in Provo. Big upset of the Ducks. This will be a huge upset of BYU. That one down the left sideline, and again incomplete, and the receiver had gone out of bounds anyway. Ross Oppo. This is sort of the games we're talking about, ranked teams against ranked teams, 6 of them with just some tremendous matchups across the board.
Well, Alabama, Ole Miss, it's put up or shut up time for Ole Miss. They get a chance now, but they're getting Alabama maybe at the wrong time. I think they're peaking. TCU is undefeated, and very quietly they're a very good football team. I think Oklahoma better be prepared. We talked about Stanford going to Notre Dame and being favored. Nebraska, Michigan State, huge game for the Big Ten, huge game for Nebraska and Michigan State, although Michigan State's status fallen a little bit with that loss Oregon suffered.
Well, I agree with you. The loss hurts the Ducks. That's Torrey Green who is hurting for Utah State. He's played a good game here tonight for the Aggies. But Michigan State, who looked so good for much of that game in Eugene, then fell apart in the second half, and the Ducks played very, very well. But I think Michigan State was counting on Oregon to be an excellent team, have that be a real high-quality loss, and maybe make a case for the playoff.
I think now the Big Ten has to hope that Nebraska wins out because they're the only undefeated team of stature in that conference.
3rd and 10, BYU. Under 3 minutes to go. Stewart heaving it right side, and Juergens fighting for the ball, could not come up with it. Well, and this is where you and I, who's in as of right now, as of tonight. We have the same 4 teams in a little bit of different order. We're going to know a lot more next week.
We are, and I think Alabama, simply by the fact that they have not only a very, very good defense, but they have the most prolific offense they've ever had. I've got them rated #1.
I've been most impressed so far by Oklahoma, but it's close. I mean, you're sort of trying to find small differences between teams at this point. That pass was complete, but well short of a first down on 4th down. That will turn it over to the Aggies, and with no timeouts, Utah State can put this game away.
It should be the game, and Christian Stewart just had to run around too much and overthrew too many people early. Had a chance, and he's got to come back and lead this team down the road. He's got a very strong arm, but needs to improve his accuracy.
Well, Utah State cannot end the game simply by taking a knee. They can come real close to it, but we'll see how they play this. They may be content to do something like that anyway. They will hand the ball off to Hill.
Yeah, it's close at 40 seconds a pop, or 38 seconds, whatever the case may be.
I think, Mike, we give this guy a pass for cramping on the sideline. Nick Vigil, you're allowed to have a few cramps with as many snaps and as well as he played.
Today? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. On both sides of the ball, and not just going in and being in the play, being the focal point of the play, leading the defensive tackles, and then carrying the ball on offense. Oh my gosh, great effort, great football talent.
Well, the Aggies, they have not done this since 1978. It's been 36 years since Utah State came down to Provo from Logan and beat BYU on its home field. And now just a few seconds away from making that win official. Coming up next on SportsCenter, what a game in LA. Kershaw Wainwright, you thought it was going to be low scoring. Shocking comeback. And how about the Royals out to a quick start against the heavily favored Angels? College game day getting ready to go for the first time ever from Oxford, Mississippi. So lots of baseball, football to talk about tonight on SportsCenter.
I've heard the Grove is a beautiful place to tailgate. I'd like to do that sometime.
You got to sort of have the uniform, bow tie, the khakis, the
boat shoes. I heard
the boat shoes. The Oxford look. Handoff, and this will be a tackle short of the first down. So you see the clock, the play clock will begin. So you can't quite run out the game here, but the wagon wheel is going up to Logan.
No, and I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting to see this. I don't know if they'll let the clock run down or they'll try to get a first down to run it out on their own. I don't think they really want to give the ball back, but I'm a little bit surprised they're not huddling up and talk about the next play.
Well, they're a little more interested in celebrating, and I tell you what, Darryl Garrettson, and they told us, hey, we got a lot of faith in this guy. He, in high school, followed Brett Hundley, the UCLA star, in Chandler, Arizona. So Hundley went to UCLA. He took over there. He's taken over for a star, Chucky Keaton. They're shaking hands, but the game is not over.
No, it's not.
This is the second time out of the second half called by Utah State for 30 seconds.
Well, Darryl Garrettson played great here tonight for Utah State. And he's, I think, telling his teammates, hey, we got to run another play.
Yeah, they're either going to punt it or they're going to put the offense back on the field and try to gain 2.5, 3 yards and get a first down.
Well, the last time that Utah State won here in Provo, Jim McMahon was on that BYU team.
Wow.
And he was here tonight after all these years. He got his degree, had his number retired, number 9.
Bruce Snyder might have been the coach at that time at Utah State, I believe.
Could be.
Yeah, I think so.
A great coach at several
Oregon
different
Duck.
spots.
Actually played at Oregon and started coaching at Oregon, and then was a great coach at Utah State.
You know, it's a bittersweet night for Jim McMahon and everybody with BYU. They're in a punt formation.
No returner.
BYU tried to get in there and block it. The punt is just going to hit and bounce and roll into the end zone for a touchback. Well, a good show of support from Chucky Keaton. Some words for his young understudy, Darrell Garretson, the veteran quarterback for the Aggies, with a smile on his face.
And the coaches talked about how important Chucky Keaton has been to Darrell Garretson, just as a support guy, as a guy that put trust in him. And Chucky Keaton is a legend here at this university at Utah State, and to step into his shoes is not easy, but Darrell certainly was up to the task tonight.
Lots for Bronco Mendenhall to think about tonight and to work on this week. A huge challenge ahead for BYU without some of their stars. Penalty flag thrown. Stewart heaving it up there for Leslie. Jordan Leslie will stay away from the tackle, finally get dragged down. And it may not matter, there was a penalty on the play. Utah State comes out ready to celebrate. The official, the referee, is going to call the penalty out. So the team's coming out for the handshake, but
illegal chop block, number 56 of the offense. Penalties decline. Game over.
They decline the penalty. Game is over, and Utah State has its first win here in almost 4 decades.
Huge win. Congratulations to Matt Wells. I'll tell you what, though, you know, both coaches talked about this being a chippy game. I haven't seen any of that. I see respect out there for both teams.
Well, Utah State with a win. Taysom Hill and BYU, they lose their star quarterback. They lose the game. Final score 35-20 for Mike Bellotti and Allison Williams. Dave Fleming saying so long here from Provo after the Aggies pull the upset.
Everybody go.